Dime qué tú quieres, papi. ¿Quieres que lo mueva para ti? Mueve, mueve. ¿Te gusta cuando me muevo así? Así.
Thank you, God, for this day.
Yeah. Woke up. Yeah, man.
That's hot shit right there, man.
So what we gonna do? We gonna dub.
King Chaka ENT. Y'all can check out the music on Spotify, Apple, and other services.
Looks like we got us another hit. Yep.
Good evening, my little one. I shall make you psychotic.
Mommy, what does psychotic mean?
Back and forth, and you know I'm swinging bows. I'm about to change course, go home and change your clothes. I'm looking at this bitch, it seems like she's saying no. I'ma hit the streets, though I'm supposed to be laying low. I'm following the buzz, never know which way it go. Keep on bringing heat, cause the G.O.D. say it so. Sailing on the beat, so you can't chop and play it so. She got me for a piece, now I'm about to pay the hoe. Stop smoking, switch the sweets, why I gotta take a toke. Now I got a little guac, now I gotta make it grow. Keep on thinking we some hee-haw, ma and pa folks. We gon' hit you in your teeth, we keep a buzz all closed. I've been on it 5 days, so I'm sitting sideways. Now get out of my way, or I'ma hit your day. Take a lick on my dick if you don't like what I say. I'm the shit with the shit, so we gon' do this my way. And we just getting started, so go and say your grace. I'ma eat you rappers, though I won't enjoy the taste. I'm closing your estates while you bowling on the stakes. I'm rolling on the bass while you rolling on the face. Sitting on the place, not knowing I'ma take your fast, slowing and it's fake. So I'm gonna wait. Time will come, down, we'll be done. I saw it and I said that it was great.
Mommy, what does psychotic mean?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? KCE, King Chaka. It is what it is, baby. You really not feeling me? Let me find out. Yo, question my ability. Let me find out. Invest in my enemy. Let me find out. There ain't no telling what you finna see. You finna find out. It's something that enters me. You finna find out. Then exit with energy. You finna find out. Riding flows like centipede. You finna find out. Screw those that's pinning me. Let me find out. Get the big lips. I'ma call you Bill Bellamy. When you talk your shit, man, really it's killing me. Hit you with my fist and I'ma do it lyrically. Crazy ass brick, so I might do it literally. I'ma do this till I'm old eating celery. How old is Jay-Z? He gotta be 70. Come to my show or I'ma do it bitterly. Or it's a porn star with a bitch named Beverly. Keep waiting tables, yeah. Spicy means peppery. Or get tattoos and work in the factory. Whatever I do, I'ma do it happily. I'm tired of these rappers too, they do it tactfully. That's why I'm here, I'm the shit this year. We gon' keep it moving, grooving, give you something you can feel. When shit's fucked up, gon' drop a tear. I'ma pull my pants up, grab another beer. Rap's messed up and I don't have no fear. Attack the chip chest up, it's a grown man in here. Ask you little chaps, what have you done in the field? Throw your sets up, let them know you're still here. I said you really not feeling me, let me find out. Yo, question my ability, let me find out. Yo, invest in my enemy, let me find out. Ain't no telling what you finna see, you finna find out. Yo, you really not feeling me, let me find out. Yo, question my ability, let me find out. Yo, invest in my enemy, let me find out. Ain't no telling what you finna see, you finna find out. Yeah, bounce, rock, shake, wiggle. We gon' come through and put it in the middle. They calls me fiddler cause I play the fiddle. Checking masters, white pipes, I's a good nigga. Bounce, rock, shake, wiggle. We gon' come through and put it in the middle. They calls me fiddler cause I play the fiddle. Checking masters, white pipes, I's a good nigga. I said you really not feeling me, let me find out. Yo, question my ability, let me find out. Yo, invest in my enemy, yo, let me find out.
KC, you the shit this year.
Yeah, I'm the shit this year.
Well, I'm riding around town bumping shit they can
Bingo,
feel.
you the shit this year.
Yeah, I'm the shit this year.
And we gon' keep it moving, grooving, give you something now.
KC, you the shit this year.
Yeah, I'm the shit this year.
What? Riding around town bumping shit they can
Bingo,
feel.
you the shit this year.
Yeah, I'm the shit this year.
And we gon' keep it moving, grooving, give you something
Look,
now.
I'm sipping Bacardi, visualizing on the farm Ferrari.
Catch a buzz from the life that we store in the party.
I'm swag immaculate, kicking this rap shit till I'm 40.
It's like electricity, just float the
Being easy with breezes and winding down and out, baby, I'm sorry.
Switch the game, change it up, falling off now hard.
Picture me rolling Maserati with some hoes in the back.
Switching lanes, taking pictures with a bitch in my lap.
Clap your hands, everybody, if you feel this shit.
KC,
Bingo,
on the mic,
and that's it.
Take a trip down south that we call the Abyss.
I'm most curious about my silver Air Forces.
And we receiving major paper from multiple sources.
Of course, it's the bosses that handle the business.
Spice the game a little bit, cause the flavor diminished.
Like Kane and Old Dog, we society's menace.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 into the 4.
KC,
Bingo, knocking at your door. Yeah, here it is again. Let's go, KC, you the shit this year.
Yeah, I'm the shit this year.
Well, I'm riding around town, bumping shit they can feel.
You the shit this year.
Yeah, I'm the shit this year.
And we gon' keep it moving, grooving, give you something
KC,
now.
you the shit this year.
Yeah, I'm the shit this year.
What? Riding around town, bumping shit they can
Bingo,
feel.
you the shit this year.
Yeah, I'm the shit this year.
And we gon' keep it moving, grooving, give you something now. Attack the track like a lion, cause I'm so ferocious. When the wind blow, I fly, cause my image on posters. It be wise to decide to not try to approach us. Get burnt like bread when it's stuck in the toaster. And you hoes like clothes, I told you I fold you. In the mornings I have Folgers with my doja. I suppose it's time to smell the roses. Clear my mind, check the snakes is close.
And peep my status, but stamina, swagging on niggas just amateurs. Style stay funkin' and cannabis. It's scandalous the way these bitches try to handle us. It's city ball to ball swords in my Polaroid camera. I want my niggas on the propaganda. What's up to this extravaganza? Hennessy, sipping weed, smoking enhancer. Even though we know that way to go is not the answer, I won't chance the opportunity to blow this shit. Take a shot at the target and I'm not gon' miss. Kicking, flipping, splitting, rip these rap niggas to bits. Let's go, KC, you the shit this year.
Yeah, I'm the shit this year.
What? I'm riding around town, bumping shit that can
Bingo,
feel.
you the shit this year.
Yeah, I'm the shit this year.
And we gon' keep it moving, grooving, give you something
KC,
now.
you the shit this year.
Yeah, I'm the shit this year.
What? Riding around town, bumping shit that can
Bingo,
feel.
you the shit this year.
Yeah, I'm the shit this year.
And we gon' keep it moving, grooving, give you something now. Yeah,
like that. I like that, y'all. Like that, like that, like that, y'all. Like
hit it with the whip of all back, y'all.
Like that, y'all. Like that, y'all.
Here it is, KC King Chaka.
Can y'all hear me? A little bit of technical difficulties there. It always starts off, it's always more difficult than it seems. This is more harder than it looks, trust me, y'all. It's probably because I got all these browsers open. Let me close Facebook because that tends to be a problem. I'm gonna come back to that later. And I may or may not use that. So let me just do that. Okay. I should be okay now. Hopefully, if y'all can hear me. Pressing too many buttons. Yes. Thank y'all for joining. How y'all doing out there? How y'all feel? Remember, we want you to be an activist. Don't take our word for it. Look that mess up. Thank you, God, for this day we have lived, everything in our life, our health, our family, the guidance you have given us. Allow us guidance to the path of righteousness. Amen. Amen, amen, amen. Elliot says, how much does it cost? It would be hard for me to tell you that, bro. Like, let's talk it out. You know, I had to buy a mic and I had to buy camera. And I pay for a subscription for StreamYard. That's where I do the broadcasting of the show. That's a monthly fee for that, or you could pay for it yearly. And then I have a software program. I had to buy it twice because my computer crashed and they won't let you move it from one computer to another. I had to buy it again. And I ain't gonna lie, I may have bought that 3 times. I ain't gonna lie. So there's that. There's a couple of other programs that I use that I have to pay subscriptions for, related to like converting files. I have to convert files and stuff like that. Like that's always a problem. So I have to pay to get that. Well, I do it myself, but I need something to do it with. So I have to pay to do that. There's one that does like these videos for me too. There's one that edits kind of videos, but I guess it's all about how much you want to spend. And I also spend a lot on ads. Like I've got ads that's about to start if they haven't started already for tonight. I think they're gonna start like in the middle of the night. But yeah, that costs money too. So it's like whatever budget you want to use for the ads. But the ads are the ones that add up like a mug. But you know, it's a reason why we spend money on these because the return is great. Like a lot of the subscribers I have now was as a result of the ads that I put out there. I can talk to people all day and I give them like little slips. Maybe I should get some business cards. I should be on YouTube. Yeah, I'm on YouTube. I'm everywhere now. I think I got one little strike that's about to fall off, but I'm everywhere. And I've been a lot more careful about what I play and even what I say. I noticed that some certain words trigger, like the R word, and I said it last night. I got to stop saying those words that trigger the algorithm to give me a hard time. Damn it, what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. The ads, spending money on the ads. Yeah, that's how I got the subscribers that I have. Like I say, I maybe I should get some business cards, but I had some like made up cards, and then I talked to people verbally, but that is not very impactful. I swear, man. The more I talk about it, the more I just sound like I don't know. People aren't listening to me. They're like, I don't know. It's weird how people are. They're like, because the person that actually does it is in front of them, it diminishes it a bit. But if it's a little barrier in between that with the ad and they don't know me and they haven't spoken to me personally, it's different. And then they're more receptive to it. So what I really want is a banner. I want some banners or some kind of like some visual ads for people to see, just random places and stuff. It'd be nice. You know, in Houston, they really hardcore on banners because banners work really well. That's the reason why they have the planes they fly over, but you pay a lot of money for that shit. But if you were to just like hang a banner, it gets attention. It works. People read it and it gets stuck in their head. But you got to pay for that. You can only do temporary banners. They're really hardcore on banners. That's why you don't see them around the city. They fine you because you have to pay a lot of money. Even if you made the banner yourself, you posted it yourself, you did all the work, it doesn't matter. The city of Houston, they want money off of that. And it's not cheap. And it's because they know them hoes work. Fucking sucks, man. It's a setup. It says, are you back on YouTube? Yes. Even typing the word creates triggers as well. Yes. I have to be careful. It says journalism is lost art that needs to come back If I need help with my setup, I'll reach out personally. Yeah, man. I love to help people with and I've learned a lot because of all the struggles I had. Like, I'm broadcasting right now. I'm on three different. I'm on my main Facebook page. I'm on my Facebook music page. It's like an artist page, and then I also have like a Facebook group page that's getting broadcast to. So that's three Facebooks, and then you have two YouTubes that we're going to right now. It's the main YouTube page. I think it's King Chuck NT or Chuck Perkins. It might be under my real fucking name. I don't know. It's the old YouTube that I made. And then I have the backup YouTube page, which is King Chuck ENT Deux. We're broadcasting to. We got, and then we're also going to Twitch, Twitter, and Rumble. And it's really tricky to broadcast to Rumble. A lot of people were talking about that early on. I was talking to some people about that and them having trouble broadcasting to Rumble because Rumble is different from all the other sites. It makes you take, it's just a couple more steps. It's a pain in the ass, but I'm used to it now. What's up, Pat? How you feel?
Feeling pretty good, man. How about yourself?
It's the R word rhymes with ape, but there's an R in front of it. That's the word. I'm all right, Pat. Man, I'm fucking man. I ain't gonna lie. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. I almost didn't come on tonight. I ain't gonna lie. I was struggling with it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it though, because I look at this like a job. You know, I want to be consistent. But you know, the kids went back to school and shit, and they freaking got a little colds and shit, and I done got that shit. All them dirty, nasty little kids at school.
At your school?
No, not at my
You,
school. At
uh,
my my
yeah.
daughter's school. Yeah, I don't really touch much at school, and I'm not there very long. I'm in and I'm out. I'm sure it wasn't from that. It's them. It's the Elliot says, "What's up, Pat?"
What's up, Eliote? Doing all right, bro? Yeah, peace to you, my brother.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So what about some of
But
that
but
stuff you
but
sent
but
me?
I'm your ex, you know, when you say it's an all word that rhymes with ape, and I'm like, damn, that's some serious. That's shit. You feeling like that, bro?
No, that's the word I can't say. I was saying that's what I was saying before you came on. There's the
Oh,
yeah, I'm learning more about the algorithm. I'm looking at the damn analytics all the time and just a lot of stuff. And I watch videos with people talking about it too, but I've noticed it in the show. I noticed it. So it's certain words that we can't say. It triggers the algorithm. And it's especially sounds. I have to stay away from the sounds and songs and shit. So, but
yeah,
I'm getting better, at all of that because they
yeah.
don't they don't specify all of that stuff. It's like community guidelines. It's like you violated the community guidelines. Well, what are the community guidelines? Well, they're whatever you do that the community doesn't really like. Well, what can
And
you?
we can make up shit as we go. You
It,
know, we just shit that we just kind of feel like we're bothered by. We're gonna just have the option to throw that in at any moment.
exactly, man. Exactly. That's why they leave it vague. So they could just be like, oh yeah, that right there. What you just did, that was what you see, that's violating the community guidelines. You just did
Who, me?
it. No, I'm just saying this the YouTube
Oh,
the
yeah,
YouTube
yeah, 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 yeah.
come,
Yeah, you see that shit you just said?
yeah, that's what you did wrong right there.
Hmm.
Stop doing stuff wrong. Man, it's a trip. It's the totalitarian damn world we live in. Elliot says a bunch of people are getting the Rona again out of nowhere. Yeah, and I hear them that's coming up and they're talking about it. And that I wanted to mention that lady. I played a clip from the lady from the CDC, the new chick, and she was talking all that stuff. She was talking about my predecessors and all that, but she just approved the another booster. I think it's Pfizer who's making it. She just approved another booster.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, we, of course, I've been telling people for a while that a lot of what they're saying is because of the jab, but some of it too might be your water source because there's a lot of things that's being transferred and around through water. There's flooding, and there's like all kind of different little stuff that's going on. So
Yeah, I
be
think it
careful
depends
about
on
your.
your location because they were talking about that. 'Cause they were talking about which one were they talking about? They were talking about damn it, I can't think of the disease, but they said they found it in the sewers and it's a whole bunch of it. I can't think of what it is.
Yeah,
Um,
and I mean, whether people realize it or not, there is some warfare going on. There's things that could be done differently, but chosen not to be. Things that what I'm saying, like, because I don't know if you've been hearing about. Well, I think we talked about it. You talked a bit about it a little bit last night with Mississippi, right?
yes, yeah,
In Jackson, which is a highly popular,
mostly
melanated.
black folks.
Yeah. So, there's things that could be done in their area that they haven't, where other people are not experiencing those things that might be in a close by vicinity. You know what I'm saying? So it's real suspicious. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And we have a history. That's the reason why people should learn history because there's a history of this happening. And really, you can see evidence all around you how they tend to put minorities, others, let's call them others. They tend to put others right next to the whatever, the power plant or the freaking, the damn bio or something like, you know what I'm saying? That's what happens, and pollution happens there right next to a pipeline or something, like, the pipeline is likely to leak. Well, okay, that's cool. Just put some of the others over that live around it. It ain't gonna matter that much.
well, I
Nobody
mean,
really cares about
when you look at it, even from the perspective of, okay, to people that whose lives are okay to be disrupted, like when they came through with the interstates, what areas did they mostly use
it. Exactly. That's the
in the
perfect
city, and when
example.
you come into the cities, or even the sky, let's say it's open air sky, but you got electrical, like, grids that's like the what you call those, what I'm saying, those power lines, the big ones,
Yeah.
where it's like over certain neighborhoods where you got radiation just.
Yeah. And certain neighborhoods wouldn't allow that shit. They would be like, nah, we don't want that over here. Can y'all build that somewhere else? Like, we don't want that shit. Noise pollution. There's a whole bunch of pollution. Elliot says freedom of speech is being censored, and I thought it would never happen in my lifetime. And big
Shit.
time. It's happening big time.
Yeah, but look at who's doing it. See, like, and that's where I really have a problem. Like, I'm really irritated by it because, regardless, like when I'm talking to, close friends and family, not all, but I'm definitely gonna say most are still in very much defense of, because they're just used to going with a certain thing. It's just like life is about change, and when you're not prepared to change because things are either, you know bad for you, or whatever it is, that, like, not being prepared to make a change that will be better for you, even if it's not the best situation, something that can be better or at least a little bit different, that, like, don't be afraid of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where it eats me up, because it's just like, I think it's too much, like, it's fear. It's like, you know you're fearing man over God. When you're trying to fit in with certain things and people, instead of trying to be right with God. Like, look, I'm gonna tell you, I'd rather go down by myself. Well, I say that by myself, but I'd rather go down with God than to follow a bunch of people who are, you know
I'm
just
telling you. And then
cattle.
it's your own life anyway. So at the end of the day, you could be wrong. And if I could be wrong, and I'm gonna accept that, and I'm gonna accept the consequences as as
Yeah.
the
Well,
repercussions. I'm
if
gonna
that's
take.
if that's the case, all right, yeah, I'm gonna have to roll with that. But I'm
And and
just
and,
not.
and I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with being wrong. I
Well,
think
I
that's
mean,
what
I'm
people
not
scared
okay
of.
with it. I'm not okay with it to the extent that I'm gonna choose not to do what I think is right. Or, when you see clear signs and you ignore them because you just scared to go up against a different something, I guess the physical enemy, because I'm gonna tell you, I mean, the spiritual, it's mostly a spiritual war, and if you're worrying about what somebody can do to your physical more than what can happen to your life, that soul that never dies, that part of you that never dies. If you not more concerned for it than the flesh, then I don't know what to really tell you.
Can you see this video that's playing in the background? Because I want to talk about
I
it a
do.
second. Yeah. So like it's an illustration of how, conception happens.
Yeah,
And
I've been watching it for like the last like 6 cycles, 6 to 8 cycles of it being on.
it's amazing, right? I mean, when I saw this video too, I was just sitting there letting it play on repeat. And it's because I think about the idea of how amazing the whole thing is, like
The
how
process. Yeah, it's a miracle. Like,
it's
well,
a
it's
miracle.
not. It is, but it's not.
Because
Uh,
look, like you have all these different sperm cells. They got different way. They got to find their way. They got to find their way through this tube. I mean, you see in this tube, it's not that many. It's fewer and fewer. They find their way to the egg. Then once they find their way to the egg, now they got to freaking crack that hole open. Only one gets to find. Another thing I think about is the Matrix because it looks like that. What were those things that were chasing the? They called them something. If they were droids, they were. They were. The ship in the real world, people was flying around in the ship in the real world, and then you had these things, and they used the electric magnetic pulse to kill them. Anyways, it's just a random thing, but the way the sperm cell looks is the same shape of those.
yeah, what you talking about, the little things that was kind of floating around like they were like police, like they were,
Yeah,
like looking for something abnormal,
yeah.
and yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
They were shaped kind of like these sperm cells are shaped, and it's just a thing that sticks in my head. I mean, I don't know. The Matrix references always happen, but anyways, this video is like it illustrates how amazing it is.
Hmm.
You could say it's not a miracle, but you gotta say it's amazing.
Well, I say that because I mean, if you really look at the true definition of a miracle is just pretty much something that would, like impossible, but
Yeah,
it
like
is, but
supernatural, but
yeah,
but
but it see, but the reason why I say it's a miracle, but it's not a miracle, is because like it's more than possible. Like it's, you know what I'm saying? Like it's,
but the universe,
it
everything's
happens
possible.
every day.
But that's why I don't believe in when people say supernatural. I don't even like that term. That doesn't make sense to me because the universe is just the universe. All is,
And the
and just
things that
because we
do
don't
happen,
understand it doesn't mean it's fucking supernatural.
true. Yeah, I roll with you on that. Um, but I mean, even like sometimes it's just, some things that they describe as supernatural really is just natural.
Yeah,
Like this was like it was just something that was meant to be, and just because it's not what we would consider normal occurrence
but
doesn't
but
make it
but
any
looking
less.
at this, I get you. Looking at this process, though, look how many instances that something could go wrong, something could not work. Like, they have to find their way through this little thing. That thing could not be opened or closed or something. They got to find their way up through this. It could be
Well, some of them got
obstructions.
look, half got lost. One, half went one way,
Yeah,
the other half went another direction,
there has to be
and
an
then
egg there, a viable egg.
yeah,
All of this stuff. Then it's got to once it's then it moves again. It's gonna show it. So
look,
this it
it
goes down
splits.
through, and now it's going through the tube, and it has to go down and attach to the uterus. This is where it attaches, and then so the umbilical cord and shit. So, but how many things could go wrong, bro? Like, and then once they're in there, and the umbilical cord get
Well, you have to think
wrapped
how many
around.
times it does go wrong, because I mean, every time
Exactly.
you have sex, it doesn't take on that full process. 'Cause, I mean, for one, like she's got to be ready. Like her body, she might be very well fertile, but I mean, you catch her at the wrong time of the month, it's not gonna just happen.
Let me read the comments. Elliot says the point. is government and man wants to become God. He says minions may be in the Matrix. And another comment, I be wanting to tap in the show more, but your broadcasting times are different with no schedule. No, man, I pretty much follow the schedule. I come in early. My schedule is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Wait, hold on. Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Sometimes I don't do Saturday. I've been getting tired of Saturdays, and I don't think people watch the show on Saturday. They want to go to the club and stuff. So, but and then I'll be on really late. So it's like coming on. I come on. I try to come on. The schedule is 11 o'clock. The schedule is 11 o'clock Wednesday and Thursday, and 1 a.m. on Friday and Saturday. That's how the schedule works. Now, I will come on early, but I try to make sure that I'm still on at the scheduled on time, even when I come on early. But another thing is, I've been trying to figure out a way to do a day show. So a couple of times I did do a show like really early, like during the day, and I didn't do a show that night. I did that a couple times because I'm trying to figure out how to add that in there.
Yeah.
He says sex is sacred and it is treated very reckless in our society. Man, I love that you made that comment, Elliot. And I say this all the time, and they think I'm crazy. And even in my relationships, and it's like because it's like a ritual, right? It's like this it shouldn't be taken lightly. The conditions need to be right. The situation the situation needs to be right. I'm gonna pass if the conditions aren't proper. Like, and I don't really want to go into the details on all of that, but it needs to be certain things, certain boxes need to be checked.
Well, well, I want to at least say this because I don't want to go too far because I can, but a lot of it is really just like senseless, like going through the motions, like kind of like, oh, it's supposed to be like it should be really more discussion of like what the outcome would be. Like it shouldn't be such just a animalistic like, oh, like, oh, each one, of course, we're humans, we have urges, but it shouldn't be based around like mostly the urges. You know what I'm saying? Like all the things that could come, that could happen from it. Like there should be more thought put into it, and like I mean the whole RVW thing that's recently came about. Like that shouldn't have to be such a big conversation because more people are more responsible with that. But
He's, he
I
Elliot
digress.
Elliot says, I feel bad for the women because they are super masculine and it's disgusting. Bro, we trying to grow female followers, bro. You being harsh. But
But it's not. But it's. I don't think it's totally their fault. I mean, because I mean, we're both supposed to be responsible parties, and like I said, I mean, the more we find out in science that children are, like we say that like it's unnatural for the to be homosexual, lesbian, and this that, and the other. But at the same time, some of these things are happening because of like the food that we're eating that create certain things. Like women should eat
and
certain things when they're pregnant to enhance a female, and then like there's other foods that would they should eat that would mostly enhance the male. And because most people don't know that type of science or understand it, because like that's more so what the uh the immaculate conception is more about. It's not really just like this, like it's really, because you can totally plan it based on the stars, what you're gonna have, whether you want a scientist, whether you want a lawyer, you want, like based on the type of person you want to be. All these things can be planned, but most people don't really understand that science.
yeah. So and I think using the word masculine may be improper. But I agree with what you're saying, Elliot. But I also think that we need to think about how, like, as a man or as a woman, you have different um, levels of masculinity and femininity
Well,
in you. We
well,
both have it,
well,
So
I, well, my bad. Because I do want to add. Because I mean, I hear. Because I know what you're saying and what. Because I mean, one of the things I also want people to realize too. Because I mean, yes, we both like we share different attributes, and based on your sex, you supposed to carry one or the other. But there's a lot of things that's happening in our world where women are like, I mean, the matriarchal sense for like women to rule is becoming more prevalent in our uh within the time period.
yeah,
So like,
because things are naturally, it's the pendulum, right? It swings one way, it swings the other way. It's inevitable that it's gonna swing back. And I
yeah.
think that, yeah, I think that's what's happening. But the toxicity, like they say, toxic masculinity, and that's what they're saying. So it comes from men and women or whatever. But I don't think that that's what it is. I think that it's more of like it's just ugly,
well,
right? I don't
well,
know what
well
the
you're
right
looking at
word.
traits. You're looking at traits, and so for some people masculinity means different things.
Yeah, so
So
that's why I say that word maybe now don't fit good enough. It's
well, but maybe it does, but at the same time, because of the way people see it or what their definition of it is, can taint the full understanding of what I think he's saying. But listen, I'm not trying to generalize. My apologies. No, no, I think for the most part, people understand this. But at the same time, I could get what you're saying because to some extent it is true. I also hear what Chaka is saying because that idea, if you're too frank about it, some people are gonna take it one way further than what you're probably really meaning, what you're trying to express in your thought, in your with what you said. So, but yeah, but no, the women are stronger. They're more demanding. They're more like things that we consider being a masculine trait, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're really and maybe it's something that they're gonna be taming. I really don't really know how to call it or what really should say about it, but I know the energy of our universe is leaning more back toward a where the matriarchies are gonna form stronger,
yeah,
bigger. You
because
know,
I don't think it ever really went away, and it's just that they put this veil up and make things appear to be something other than what it is. Because you know the mom runs the household, man, and
yeah.
that's it.
But if men are always doing things to satisfy or to like look, we trying to obtain things to show off and become the more attractive to women and this, that, and the other. I mean, doesn't that, aren't we get still giving our power to them? Like
Because that's all we're doing, and we just get lost in it. We get lost in it. It's a lie. It's a lie that we tell to ourselves. And when I say we,
that we're in control, because I mean, in a lot of cases, I mean, like really women have a power that like without having to be in power, have the power.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
it.
it's like the power of the wind. It's like that's why they say it's like the weather. Um,
Mhm.
Let me see. Elliot says many of the people I know and love say I'm anal and have no filter. I don't sugarcoat shit. I'm direct. Then again, I'm Aries, Taurus, cusp.
Well, hey, I think that's somewhat of a good trait, and I know it might backfire on you from time to time, but um, you know,
Yeah.
just keep it real. That's all. I mean, that's the only
I
thing I
think
could really.
that's the only way I can be, because I hate having long ass conversations. I don't like small talk. We talked about it before. So it's like when you cut to the chase, then sometimes small talk is necessary when you're doing business, but when you're just having a conversation with somebody, you're not doing business. You know what I mean? So cut to the chase. Boom. This is what it is.
Well, it
This is what it is.
depends. I mean, when we have our little conversations here, you know, it's friendship and it's business at the same time. Because it's like the whole time you're like, damn, you said about five things that I could use as this or that or whatever, you know, titles and you know whatever it was that when we were having the conversation. So it's like it does happen. Might not be the you know with everybody, but you
I
know,
get it.
yeah.
There's a few things I want to cover. I really want to talk about American Exceptionalism. That's the name of the show. I got a video that's gonna help explain that. I'm pretty anybody that watched the show knows which direction that's going in. I have a I have a few other ones. I really kind of want to cover that attempted assassination thing that you sent me. That was really interesting.
Yeah,
Um, what else? What else do I have?
there's a lot
Uh,
of stuff that's going down in South America that, like, bro, we got to be
oh,
careful. Well,
Sarah Palin in Alaska. That's the other thing I want to cover because I meant to cover that yesterday. But let's start with the. He says, what do y'all think we're talking about with American exceptionalism? Like, what's the definition?
you know, that's one of those things like, you know, I'm sure because I know it's coming from you, there is a spin on it. But you know, like we always think that we're better than everybody. You know, we like whatever we think is supposed to be above and beyond what everybody else, you know, the rest of the world's, you know what I'm saying? Like we're always getting involved in other people's shit and trying to act like, you know, like we have the moral high ground to where, you know, and I think that's really what's wrong with the world right now. I mean, because I mean, our leaders are really not, in my opinion, not moral leaders. You know, like you might be the richest, but that doesn't mean that you're the most right. But
Man, and the money is a key. That's why I picked the background with the American flag and the dollar sitting on it. It took me a little while. Y'all know I take a that's one of the things I do preparing for the show is choosing the green screen, the background because it's my third character or whatever. It's my whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like my
yeah.
prop, but it always goes with what we're talking about.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's one of the things I do. Let me pull up the definition so we can read it right quick.
Exceptionalism.
Well, American exceptionalism.
Oh, is there an American exceptionalism? It's oh wow,
Yeah, American
wiki.
exceptionalism. It's funny how it's wiki. So, but I could have went somewhere else, but this is fine because it pops up the same everywhere. It says American exceptionalism is the idea that the United States is inherently different from other nations. It's just starting off with this. I have a problem because it says American exceptionalism, and then it says is the idea that the United States is inherently different from other nations. So here's that thing where they're making United
Uh, uh,
States.
uh, it's making a definite difference between America and the
Well,
United States.
no, it's saying they're this. It's saying that it's saying United States is America. Like
No,
it's leaving out everybody else.
it's no. I think that the people of America look at because the government and like the people really. I mean, it's kind of separate depending on how. I mean, at least some of us I know, but I mean, if you really think about it, America is the land. United States is the government.
Okay.
So that's where like they're definitely different. But to me, when you were reading it, it's showing the definite differences between because I mean, majority of the people we really kind of see ourselves more. All right, we're Americans. We are what America is. The United States is it is something different.
The
So
government.
yeah.
The- Let me read the second part of the definition. It says proponents of it argue that the value, political system, and historical development of the U.S. are unique in human history, often with the implication that it's both destined and entitled to play a distinct and positive role on the world stage.
Now I agree with that. It really is, but but it's not because the wrong people are leading. If it was the true people of America, you know, I think there was a higher chance of that, responsibility being met or upheld.
Go ahead. I'm preparing for this.
Yeah, because I mean, for me, like I think I mentioned something like this early in the week when we talked. It's like there's um what how did what did I say? Damn the
Let,
hold on.
let me read the comments. It might come back to you. Elliot says, I think that most people need to mind their business and stay out of other people's affairs. And he says, to me, America is Morocco from my studies.
Eh, um, you know that part, like I've heard that as well, and to some extent, but no, America is America. Um, Morocco was somewhat a capital, or it was a high, like a significant part, because we got to think like kind of what they're planning to do. We had already done for many millennia before they came into any kind of government, uh, running government or anything. So I mean, we that one world government kind of existed once before, but it wasn't in the fashion in which they're trying to do now. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, I've seen that, but because of the role that Morocco played in the beginning um, of America, because there was government here, the Continental Congress and the Confederacy, which was the Moors and the Indians that were here. The Confederacy was mostly the Indians that were, had their own little tribes, the 500 nations, 500 plus nations that went around the United States, and of course, the involvement with the Moors. So these are all melanated people for the at least majority, because there were some Mongolians with it, but that Morocco thing, I wouldn't necessarily say uh, without a doubt that that's fully true.
Elliot says, all I know is the District of Columbia runs America.
Well, and that's the thing. That's and it's separate from the 50 states, the 50 countries within the United States. If we want to look at it more as separate countries, you can, but they're united and they consider states. But however, I think we're going to go back to that kind of a mindset. But you're right. The DC District of Columbia is what is the running power, and it's by foreigners. It's foreign nations that has come together, which have considered themselves the United States that we assume to be the United States of America, but they purposely left off of America because it's of other city states. Law is very specific. I'm about to say Pacific. Law is very specific, and it's not an accident that they, at some point, stopped using of America when they say the United States. Um, I was trying to remember the point that I was on, but I guess it comes back to me. I'll just because we was talking about a conversation that we had earlier. Can you hear me? Oh, no, hold on. He let he's. Oh, okay. I apologize, y'all, because it kind of messed up my thought process. As I was doing something, trying to do multiple things, and it threw me off. So I apologize. But there's a lot of different scenarios that they try to make about you know, the reality of what's going on. Past, present. Um, but the law definitely speaks for itself. And to truly get the understanding, you're just gonna have to really do some research. You can't expect that what our schools teach and what other people say. Like, it's good for you to see it for yourself, because that's how I end up being able to learn. Because I went through a lot of the stuff that some of these other people go through, but it was enough for them to where they stopped at wherever they are and they can. But for me, it was just like things still didn't add all the way up. You know what I'm saying? But
I'm back. I apologize. Elliot says history scares me because it's his story and not sure how much has been tainted. Yeah, that's why you got to dig through it, and you just use your common sense too. Like, one thing I do when I read history, I think about humans and how they are today, as far as, like, not like not like traditions and cultures, but just like humans, like how humans are, like how I know them.
human behavior.
Right. So then that it's gonna be pretty much the same. So if it doesn't make sense with that, then something ain't right with the story.
Yeah, and ask more questions. Setting up a table of questions that you want to figure out. If you even if, like, talking to yourself is good. You know what I'm saying? Um, Doing it in public might not, but but however, having those conversations and asking yourself those, hard questions, and seek them out. Try to figure, see what you can actually find out, and you don't just always be just, okay with the first answer you get.
Yeah. Ask questions. I want to go to this video right here. The name of it is America's Overwork Obsession. The caption says, "Work hard, make money, send your kids to college, retire to Florida. It sounds nice in theory, but the reality of work in America is dramatically different from the American dream we've all been taught to believe in."
Hmm.
So I'm gonna play this in pieces because it's good. It's not very long. It's 11 minutes. I'm not gonna play the whole thing. Maybe I will, but I'm gonna play it in pieces because we can talk about it.
The less you eat, drink, and buy books, the less you go to the theater, the dance hall, the public house, the less you think, love, theorize, sing, paint, fence, etc., the more you save. The greater becomes your treasure which neither moths nor rust will devour, your capital. The less you are, the less you express your own life, the more you have, i.e., the greater is your alienated life. The greater is the store of your estranged being. Everything which the political economist takes from you in life and in humanity, he replaces for you in money and in wealth. All passions and all activity must therefore be submerged in avarice. The worker may only have enough for him to want to live, and may only want to live in order to have that. These words, penned by Karl Marx in 1844, are no less true today than they were 170 years ago, and nowhere on earth do they ring more true than in the United States. As the wealthiest nation on earth, the US enjoys the privilege of looking down on the rest of the world as, quote, less successful, our people basking in the light of glorious American exceptionalism. What we fail to realize is that our concept of success is not only narrow and short-sighted, but also fundamentally opposed to human flourishing. Our population as a whole may enjoy more wealth than some of our peer nations, but at what cost? Our waking hours are consumed by work, our life expectancy is on the decline, we rate poorly in metrics like happiness and job satisfaction, and those of us in the workforce today will never achieve the financial stability of our parents' generation. In this episode, we're going to attempt to divorce the notion of success from the dogged pursuit of the accumulation of capital. Let's start with the core belief that animates many American workers, the idea of the American dream. A sort of national ethos, the philosophy of the American dream can be summed up something like this. Everyone has the opportunity for prosperity and success, regardless of their background and based solely upon their ability or achievement. It's very much a pull yourself up by your bootstraps mentality, a phrase which is also very common in American life. The idea that one should be able to succeed without any external help, solely through one's own force of will and hard work. This notion is, of course, absurd, and is made even more ridiculous
Okay.
by the fact that the phrase has been adopted by so many in a manner completely opposite to its original meaning. To pull yourself up by your own bootstraps is obviously impossible, and that was the original meaning of the phrase, to attempt something that is completely absurd. Of course, in America, nothing is impossible, so we refitted the expression to better suit our dogmatic obsession with self-reliance.
So what do you think about that? So like that goes back to what I was saying about the double speak and how they change what something means. It's like it's impossible to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, but then they like, bro, you need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Well, I mean that was one of the reasons why MLK got, like his approval rating started diminishing within the you know the major public, because he started speaking just like that, because that speech that he had where he talks about you know they gave millions of acres of land to the Europeans. They gave you know I guess tractors and this and that and the other to mechanize the farms and all these different things that they did for the Europeans that were newly here, but they didn't want to help the people that who already are here, and telling them and saying these are the very same people that say to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. So it's like like you see that these people need a hand up, you're willing to help these, because that's when I did that sound that I was like, what? Okay, now we got to stop here because that's some bullshit. But thankfully, the narrator, said it for me. But you know, this is the idea that we live with. And I don't know if I sent you that video because it was kind of a different one, but if not, I'll go and pull it up and send it to you so you can pull it up, because it's this guy talking about Americans being lazy and they just don't want certain things, which is and he's a foreigner, so he has a misguided idea about how America operates, which, what I'm saying, like, yeah, I can get angry about it. It's like, how stupid can it be, and this, that, and the other. But a lot of people don't know. And that's the thing. Like, they really come here thinking, they have this idea about America that is so exceptional, and that, for you not to succeed, what's wrong with you, where, they happen to be on another side, so that to some extent, because you're here long enough, you're able to see it. If you are, if you're not just here long enough, but your your ability to be honest with yourself and everything that's happening. So I think that so far this guy's, I'm rolling with him. So far everything sounds good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to it, but Ellie made a comment. He says using the trivium of critical thinking helps me with information. Can you please look up that definition? I have it on the screen. I think they're talking about the trivium. The explanation of the trivium is a paradigm according to Sayers. So I guess it's this chart here: grammar stage, logic stage, rhetoric stage. So it's an education system. Up here at the top it says the classical education movement designates a traditional and historic liberal arts education that seeks to restore a robust study of the liberal arts and include study of natural sciences, Western literature, the Greek books, Western history, and the fine arts. While schools in the movement vary in their use of these categories, the general goal of the classical educational movement is to bring this group of studies to contemporary private and public schools, as well as to thousands of homeschooling communities. So it's a
What is it?
teaching style.
What does it say? The TF that there? What is it? Can you please look up the look up TF? What is
The fuck, the TF.
that? Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. I didn't know if that fit there, but okay.
Another comment, it says, I think the government are exploiting their own people as well as other countries for profit. And he says,
What?
yeah, survival mode is not what God's plan for humanity. If it is, that's satanic. Well, survival mode is also being alive. You know, we have to think about that a bit. Like, I don't want to be in survival mode now. Don't get me wrong, now, okay?
You
No,
don't
but
want to
what
be
I'm
what?
saying, I don't want to be in survival mode. Is what I'm saying. But being alive, like you think about, you know, this cush life that we live. All of the skills it took for us to stay alive when we were out in the bush or whatever, running around and shit. You know, we don't need those skills. Like you get what I'm saying, and also the thrills, the stuff where things are actually like your life is actually on the line. When there's when there's real um threat.
Consequences?
Yeah, real consequences. Like I noticed that the kids play games that have no real skill building, that has no real competition. It tends to be random and like, not, you know, not even having a conclusion as winners and losers. Like it doesn't have a
Well,
you know.
I think naturally we go through different cycles as humans, because you know, like I said, if we go right now today, we can look up pretty much every person and like, okay, we want to build some pyramids that they like, just like they built, 15,000 years ago, 25,000 years ago, whatever. And nobody is gonna have an idea what the hell they did. Right now, nobody knows what they did. But at some point, there were these people. Like there's many of these different things. So not only do we know it's possible, but right now we don't have the capacity mentally to be able to even derive or like to even come to a starting point of where to begin with, building a pyramid or one of these great monuments or whatever. But I think that because of our devolving to some extent will reignite our elevation to other heights and things that maybe we've never created before. But that's I think it's not necessarily just a satanic, like we always need something to fight for, because if we don't always have somewhat of an instinct to um protect ourselves from ourselves or from each other, from animals, from whatever it may be, we really like I think we're better off where we do have some sense of uh want, or a need to protect whatever it is we have, because if we live in this la la land and we think that everything is great and beautiful and protected from everything, like it's going to come to a point where we don't even defend ourselves from outside attack, or like that's what happened to us as aboriginals to this land. Like I mean, we had little different things going on within ourselves, but as far as preparing ourselves for outside attack, we weren't ready for it. And especially they came with firearms. You know what I'm saying? Like they came with, we had little spears and clubs and different little things where we could do hand to hand battles. Shoot, we wasn't ready for what the outside came from, because we were so out of touch with the world. So it's you kind of be careful of what you really ask for because, you know, I'm sure like God can set that up.
And I think privilege can lead to, being soft as hell. How
That's
ready
what
are we in America now today? Like how ready are we really? We love to go around the world blowing shit up. How ready are we to deal with some shit right here on our doorstep?
we're not the average person because I mean, most Americans look at like, shoot, it's never gonna happen here,
Oh
but
shit.
it's like really it's been set up for it to happen here sooner or later because, no matter how much you might people love Obama or whatever, but he's the one that signed it where because before then, like it was impossible, like the laws were against anybody ever coming to America to have any war. Those things have been taken off the table. Like we're free game now. So, you
I'm gonna
know,
play some more of this. Check it.
America is an interesting case study because, unlike many other countries, when settlers first arrived here, there seemed to be an endless expanse of land to explore and claim. This frontier lifestyle gave birth to the restless nature of the American dream. One governor noted in 1774 that the Americans forever imagine the lands further off are still better than those upon which they are already settled. He added that, if they attained paradise, they would move on if they heard of a better place farther west. This sums up the American relationship to work pretty well. What we have is never enough. We need to accumulate more and more wealth, never satisfied, ever striving. Over the last couple centuries, the American dream has evolved into what we see today. Work hard, save money, send your kids to college so they can live a better life than you did, retire to Florida. In a lot of ways, this is a noble goal. The desire for your children to live a better life than you did is what we should expect of ourselves. But more recently, over the past 50 years or so, the benefits of hard work have been stripped away, and the things older generations took for granted have all but disappeared. Jobs are harder to find and pay far less money than our parents were paid for comparable positions. Pension plans and retirement benefits are rarely offered these days. We have some of the worst vacation and parental leave options in the world. Much of the economy has shifted to gig work, which doesn't have to provide health insurance or any other benefits. And domestic and global perception of the US is on a decidedly downward trajectory. But don't just take my word for it, let's look at a few statistics. Back in the 1960s, only 20% of American mothers worked. This was partly due to the perceived role of the mother as the primary homemaker and caretaker, but it was also largely because most households only needed one source of income to provide a financially stable and upwardly mobile life. Today, 70% of American children live in households where both parents are employed. Most families simply can't get by on a single source of income. At least 134 countries have laws that cap the maximum length of the work week. The US does not. In the United States, almost 86% of men and over 66% of women work more than 40 hours per week. You've probably heard that Japanese workers are some of the most overworked in the world. The average American works 137 more hours per year than the average Japanese worker.
Comments.
I believe that, especially that last part, because man, shit, I know how I work. You know what I'm saying? Like I usually run out of my 70-hour clock every week of driving, and sometimes I'm at a point where I gotta do recap, so I don't even really get a full day off. But um, I grew up with my mom, working working at LSU during football season, this, that, and the other, going to work at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and not coming home until like 7, 8 o'clock at night. And it's just, yeah,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
how many people would think we work more than people in Japanese people?
Well, see, and that's the thing. Like, I think that's a deception because, yeah, like we're more, well, they didn't mention Chinese because that's the one where I know like people jumping out of the window trying to escape to heaven through that window or whatever. But I know that because of the idea that the mind control that they have over the majority of people, that we are perceived to have easier lives than anybody else in the world, and this is the best place to be, where there's places that we could probably just take a few moments and say places that's better off than, if we're looking at it from the standpoint of the citizen and the benefits of being a citizen of that country. Like, there's countries who's better off than we are. You know what I'm saying? But
Elliot says, if both parents are working to survive, who is taking care of the children?
so our government has set up things to have control over how, what is it like. If you can't trust nobody to watch them, just sit them in front of the TV. We'll take care of them.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. TV, tablets, cell phones.
Because I mean, these days and times, that's harder to do because of either like the cost to do that, to have somebody watching your kids, or trusting somebody to do that while you're gone. So I mean, leaving your kids at home is harder to do than it was when we were kids. Like, I mean, there was a whole term for a kid like me, which was called a latchkey kid. You know what I'm saying? So like, when I leave home, my mom was already gone. When I get back home from school or whatever, she still hadn't made it back yet. I'm there. Of course, I can jump out and go hang out with my friends, or sit there and watch the cartoons that's on Thundercat and He-Man and the rest of them. Um, but you know, I know that I didn't really have a very productive childhood. Like, we should be, with one parent, with the guidance, that guidance that you have, at least from a parent. Because even if you at some after school program or whatever, it's still just them just kind of babysitting. They're not really leading you toward anything better than what you would if, maybe a parent that's, you know,
And
trying
Elliot says that's why polygamy makes more sense, more and more sense. I agree with that comment, Elliot,
I
wholeheartedly.
do I do too. I mean, I've always believed in it, but it being always being more practical, because I mean, honestly, a lot of us already have that kind of a relationship.
Right, that's what I be saying all the time. I think, and we lying to ourselves about it, and then it's unofficial. So now it's it's not binded. So then people just jet and leave whenever they want to. It's fucked up. But yeah, the village raised the child, right? Ain't that what they say? Just two parents is not enough.
Well, but yeah, that's true. But when your village is being injected into you know your community, because I mean, if you're working, your neighbors probably have to do the same kind of, working the same kind of hours. Like, it's like each household is going through these same dynamics.
Yeah,
So
because of the system that they have us in, this separate shit. And why don't come together as a community? Somebody's home in the neighborhood. It don't even have to be in wherever you live. Somebody's
yeah,
home.
well, I mean, I remember early years there was I mean, I don't know if she's still doing it or not, but there was a daycare center. There was a couple of daycare centers in our neighborhood. If you say it's, like somebody's home being used as a daycare, but what I'm saying, like, there was at least three in the neighborhood, that different ones. There was one main one. There was, and two other like little small ones or whatever. Because everybody knew Miss Miss Ventress, but there's a few other ones that some of them were still able to be housewives to some extent, and they use that to, you know as an extra being able to use that as like a little business, even as a housewife, I guess you could say. But
Yes, we should just come. We just come together as a community. If we can, we do have this issue with trust, but that's because of these commercials telling us our neighbor is, a serial killer or something.
what? But I mean, maybe not in every neighborhood that's gonna be prevalent, but in some areas that's gonna be very prevalent. Like that's, I don't know. I sent you a video earlier that kind of was a little scary that maybe you can get to later.
Yeah,
Um, a teacher defending pedophilia, and that's actually what's happening in school.
yeah. Let me
Yep.
place it.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I don't want to get too far off of the topic, but they call it what I've been saying about the LGBT, like they're probably not going to use the P for pedophilia, but they're calling these people MAPS, and that's minor attracted people. It's like don't talk about them people like that because they're attracted to 5-year olds. Like this is a teacher, some school. I think it might have been high school, but still in all, like this is what they're trying to prep our kids for.
All right, let me play some of this.
We work 260 more hours than the British. We work 499 more hours than the French. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, productivity of the average American worker has increased by 400% since 1950. If we're producing value at 4 times the previous rate, that would mean we could earn a comparable living to our grandparents in 1/4 the work hours, right? Obviously, that's not the case. We're working longer hours at a drastically increased rate of productivity, but we don't benefit from that labor. Well, at least we're rewarded with generous vacation and parental leave. Oh, wait, no. We have the worst rankings in the developed world, and worse rankings than many third world countries. Among 41 studied nations, the US ranks dead last in terms of paid parental leave. We are the only nation out of those 41 that does not mandate some amount of paid parental leave.
You see that shit?
Yeah, no, I saw this video.
Yeah, I think I
So
sent it. Yeah.
yeah,
All these countries that have parental leave, not the United States. In a lot of those countries, they give men time.
that's what I'm about to say. Because I mean, not only because see, there's more respect to the family than it is to because I mean, like women get it, but then it's such a short period of time. It's almost like, all right, look, just in case you had to take a C-section or something like that. All right, we'll give you a little bit more time, but you hurry up, motherfucker. It's time to get your ass back to work. No,
Yeah, but
you're
they
gonna
don't have to.
drop your baby off at the daycare.
Yep.
Get your ass back to work.
And here in the States, it's like it's a badge of honor. It's like, oh, she was back to work so fast in 6 weeks.
Oh
She,
hell no.
she had to be. But look, a lot of these companies, they don't pay them, right? They'll
Yeah,
give you the time. We
but
understand you need time, but shit,
but
the
look,
bills still keep coming.
but see, and then the thing that I think that like even the average American, even though they live with it, a lot of them don't even take the time to even see that it's our own government. Some people do, but like it's our own government that has set up the whole narrative to keep men looking, you know, less than because like they can't provide for these women so that they got to get back to work like they have a child they got to get back out here and work and this that and the other so the men must be crap they must not do nothing but no this is the system that they've set up for it to be this way you know what I'm saying like there's nothing in place like we see that other countries that is nowhere near as big as America that has systems set up for even the man to take off for at least weeks or even months to be able to bond with their child after it's born so I mean, in America, like the really the mother doesn't get a chance to do that either. The father don't get it at all. Like I mean, shoot, I know like when I got the call that my son was ready to come Like shoot, I still had to kind of get, make sure things were organized enough for me to be able to leave and that things would be okay until I got back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Having to kind of, put people in position to handle certain things for me. And I'm like, you know, and it's not even, and it wasn't even my own business. You know what I'm saying? Like, but however, that's just like the construct that we've allowed our country to get to because, okay, yeah, we're trying to give certain freedoms to, want everybody to have freedom, but at the same time, under that kind of rule, like really everybody is unhappy, unsatisfied, and angry with each other. Like everybody, like it's not meant to where we can have a prosperous family, unless you are just, you know, rich.
Even then,
I mean, and then it's tough even then.
let me play some more.
For comparison, the smallest amount of paid leave required by the remaining 40 nations in the study is about 2 months. 2 months of paid leave in the US is unfathomable. In 34 of the 41 countries, some of the leave is allocated for new fathers. There's a reason we only ever hear the phrase maternity leave in the US, and that's because new fathers are never eligible for leave in order to spend time with their child. Some countries that rank higher than the US include Mexico, Greece, Croatia, even our fellow workaholic Japan. Estonia offers 86 weeks of paid parental leave. Again, the United States offers nothing. There are 0 industrialized nations on Earth that don't have a mandatory option for paid parental leave, except the US. Vacation and sick time is a similar story. We don't have a federal law requiring paid sick days, nor do we have a law mandating paid annual leave. Once again, making us the only industrialized nation not to do so. Take a look at this graph. You might notice there's a bar missing. That would be the United States, not mandating any paid leave whatsoever. It's especially depressing when you realize that a McDonald's employee in Norway gets more vacation time than just about any American worker, regardless of field or salary. Meanwhile,
What do you think about that? Yeah,
It
McDonald's
hurts.
worker. That
It
hurts.
hurts. It hurts, bro. It freaking hurts. I mean, like I got my own business. Like, it's up to me to take off whenever I want, you know. But I'm just saying, like, still and all, I mean, regardless, that's a damn shame, bro. But I mean, and that's probably why it's gotten to the point that it did, is because of how you know, it doesn't give, you much time to relax or get too comfortable. Because you know what, get your ass back out here, nigga. And that's the black ones and the white ones and
Yeah,
everything in between.
everybody.
You Mexican niggas, get your ass back to work. You Italian, you know what I'm saying? All y'all, look, look. All right, hug them, kiss them. All right. Look,
And,
I tell you what, it's 4:30. I want to see you back over here by 9 o'clock.
and then we're brainwashed that this is the way it should be. This is the best way to go. And then, like, it makes us better than everybody else because we work harder and work longer. And
No,
that's why we're
no.
richer and all of this shit. And so, but what about quality of life? But you know what's crazy about that is when your jobs get up there and you start getting into them corporate jobs, they start talking about quality of life all the time. It be in the packages. It's in the packages that you sign, for the job.
Hmm.
You
Well,
know,
I mean, there's some companies that you can work for that can actually be like real beneficial for sanity, and what I'm saying, having some sanity. But I mean, a lot of some of those companies are governed in other states, so that it actually, you can kind of have somewhat of, or it maybe even run from a different country that has a lot of those things in place that you're able to experience here because of the way it was set up by that other country.
yeah. So, but it highlights the class structure and it highlights the way that they separate us and pit us against each other is because you know, like that person that says, you know, hey, you need to have health insurance. You know, you should have that. You know,
What is that?
that's irresponsible if you don't have health insurance. And then they're like,
Oh,
I have Blue Cross Blue Shield, you know, and it's like, okay, my job, through my job I have Blue Cross Blue Shield. You should do that too. It's like, well, my job doesn't offer anything like that.
yeah.
And
I mean, I look. I'm one of one, and believe me, what I pay for health insurance is insane. But I'd rather go on and pay that than to have to be able to pay 12,000 because of a visit, or because of shit 30,000, 50, whatever it could be, because I don't have some form of insurance. So I mean, it's like I'm like pretty much necessary to have, but because I mean, to limit your risk, I mean limit your liabilities. You know what I'm saying? Because anything that happens to you, your
you finna
kids, or
pay.
whatever,
You finna
yeah, I
pay.
mean,
And then
you
that's the other part of it. Why
that
does
can
it cost
it can
so
ruin your
much?
entire it can
Yeah.
ruin your entire life. Like one incident can change the rest of your life, and the way the credit system, the debt slave system that we have going on here, like like
Royally fucked.
yeah,
And you didn't even really do nothing wrong, but like accidentally,
live.
break your leg
You
or something. Like something
you just
random
you
happened.
just you're just living. You're just doing like you're doing what humans do.
Elliot says, "What I'm hearing is sad and could bring one to tears."
Hmm.
Let me play some more.
While in the United States, we abuse our low paid workers and lambaste them for being lazy and not finding a better job. It's no wonder that our citizens consistently rank poorly for happiness and job satisfaction. They're being worked to death, are not offered any benefits, get
I'm
no
gonna
time off, and on top of that are
pause for a
abused for
second because
trying
I
to
need to
earn.
find this thing to send to you. I'm sorry. Yeah, but because it's relative to what you got going on right here.
Yeah,
So
send it through Facebook and I'll open
yeah,
it up through there.
yeah.
A living. What's perhaps more disappointing than wealthy older people deriding low paid workers is other workers in precarious positions doing the same. For example, take gig economy workers. While some of them are fully aware that their occupation is based on their own exploitation, there's a disappointing subset of people who buy into the notion of, quote, hustle culture. You'll see these people make inspirational Instagram posts, posting images of Jeff Bezos, using hashtags like rise and grind, and going on about how the key to success is to work all day, every day until it pays off. Here's the thing. For these people, it will never pay off. Deifying rich people who accumulated their wealth by exploiting others or inheriting vast sums of money doesn't make you smart, it means you've bought their propaganda. If you drive 15 hours a day for Uber, you might make a bit more money, but you don't have any opportunity for advancement. You're not suddenly going to get health insurance or vacation time because you're working hard. You're a piece of equipment to them. You drive the car, you make them money. That's all you're worth to Uber. But this toxic idea that we need to give up hours, days, years of our lives as a sort of sacrifice to appease the gods of success is not only misguided, it's actively throwing away your life.
It's like he said, you're a piece of machinery to them. Damn.
Hustle culture destroys your work-life balance, and those who engage in it see themselves as morally superior to people working traditional jobs for a wage. These sorts of false divisions among the working class are exactly what the ruling class wants. The same is true of the false division between the working class and the so-called middle class. It's a meaningless distinction designed solely to make more comfortable workers feel superior to their lower-paid counterparts, and therefore at odds with their own best interests. If you feel superior to others, or see yourself more like the billionaires than your fellow workers, you'll never organize against your oppressors, because you believe you might one day become part of this upper echelon. If you just work a few more hours per week, surely you'll be rewarded and gain entrance into their elite club. America's cult of overwork destroys our collective imagination. It removes every possible motivation beyond the desire for the accumulation of more wealth. To many Americans, there is nothing but work and the possibility of eventual reward. Work is the only thing that matters. But there is so much more to life than what capitalism has conditioned us to pursue. If we worked fewer hours, we could take time to spend with family and friends. We could learn that hobby we've been putting off for years. We could write novels, produce art, create things that enrich the lives of others on a fundamental human level. We could take time to just exist. When was the last time you just took a day to relax and you didn't feel guilty about it? We are so conditioned to believe that we should always be working that even when we're not working, it's all we can think about. The American dream, the obsession that anyone can, quote, make it if they work hard enough, is thoroughly tangled up with the notion of American exceptionalism. We think it's because we work so hard that we are exceptional. And you know what? We are exceptional. We're the most overworked population on the planet. Our standard of living is going down. Our life expectancy is going down. We don't get vacation days, sick days, or time to spend with our newborn children. We're increasingly unhappy. Our economy is teetering on the brink of the worst financial crisis in modern history. We can't protect ourselves from a pandemic that everyone else handled because we're so conditioned to believe that we always need to be working. And somehow we still believe that the American dream is a reality. So yes, we are exceptional, but we are exceptional in all the wrong ways. If we don't dismantle the oppressive structures that enable this culture of overwork, this is the only form of American exceptionalism that will ever exist. I mentioned at the beginning of this
Dark, dark, dark. Tears, like Elliot said. Tears. Let me read some comments. Let me make sure. Am I coming through? Mic is good. Okay. The first comment, it says, "You aren't paid by how hard you work. You're paid by how hard you are to replace." That's pretty heavy right there. You aren't paid by how hard you work. You're paid by how hard you are to replace. I think that's true right there. That's it. Because it's like it's but sometimes maybe it's easier than you think it is for them to replace you. I guess all of us think we're hard to be replaced. They can't go without me. They need me. And they'll be like, "Oh, well, here comes Tebow, and this dude, this dude know how to do the shit too." Or he lied about it, and they don't even care anyways. Let me read another comment. It says, "I remember at a presidential town hall when a woman told George W. Bush that she had to work 3 jobs to make ends meet. Bush looked at her and smiled and said, 'You work 3 jobs? That's great. That's America.'" It's like somehow they turn it around like, oh, it's a good thing. It's a lot of us out there that feel this way. Oh, I have 3 jobs. I have 4 jobs. I have 5 jobs. You know what I'm saying? What the hell? It's some kind of weird ass competition for not having no sleep and no life at all. It's crazy. Let me read another comment. It says, the most outrageous thing about all this, that there's Americans out there that would fight against paid leave, paternity leave, and working less because they somehow think it's socialism, communism. That's how brainwashed we are. That is all the way true. That's exactly what they would say. Let me read another comment. It says, "I couldn't be happier that my generation is finally waking up and seeing this hustle culture crap for what it is." Hustle culture. And it's like they're going down your timeline. They make you feel like crap. They show these beautiful destinations and shit. You can make this overnight. You can just get up off your ass and make a phone call that's actually man. And I ain't gonna lie, I got sucked up into it. I got into one of them pyramid schemes before. Anyways, I ain't even gonna talk about it. Let's move on. Another comment, it says, "Happiness is a state of mind, but it's hard to be happy on an empty stomach." Word. I agree with that. But how much do you need to eat though? How much is enough? That's the question I ask all the time. How much is enough? I ask, is Pat, are you back, Pat? Elliot, how much is enough? Whoever's listening, how much is enough? Like, how much money do you need to have for you to feel like you good and you don't have to worry about nothing? How much is enough? So the thing is, that number is going to be different for everybody. And so it'll just be an imagination number anyways, because we don't really know the answer to that question, And it's like, how are you thinking about it? and then you're like, how much do you really need? What do you really need in your life? You know, how many pairs of shoes, how many cars, or how many houses, or whatever? How much food can you eat? You know,
Well,
I think,
it's gonna be different for everybody.
yeah. But what I'm saying is like, you you buy a house, you buy a car, you know, you buy some land or whatever for the house to go on. Like you somewhere in Guatemala.
Okay.
Elliot says 50K. Um,
Well, I mean, look, there is no real number. That number changes for everybody because, you know, for me, the number is higher, much higher, because my concern is for more people than maybe the average person. Like, I mean, if you're mostly concerned about just you and, you know, maybe the other two, your significant other, one child, maybe two. Yeah, I mean, on a meager lifestyle, yeah, 50. Well, I don't know about now with all of the inflation and stuff, but 50 is not a bad place to be.
yeah, but it's
Just
like,
you can survive with it.
yeah, you just think about what you really need to be alive. Like that's what I mean about how much, is enough, because I think that's where we get lost, and that's where the problem happens. That's where we get brainwash. That's where the brainwashing kicks in, you know, because you think about life and you think about each day that you live. That what's really special about us is that we don't really take a lot of, we don't need a lot of, we don't have to consume a lot of calories, and we can do a lot of work or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's a really cool thing about us, and we conserve energy by walking upright the way that we walk and shit. So we really don't need a lot. And you think about your life day to day, and if things were different, if you didn't have to pay light bills, you didn't have to pay car notes,
Yeah.
and what do you really need to be happy? Like, you think about what you really want. Like if you really like to read books, or maybe you like to go fishing, you want to farm, you know, whatever it is, and then you have those things and you have that, then you good. You get what I'm saying?
Well,
But
yeah. I mean, I agree with you. Um, especially from the perspective you're coming from. But I mean, I understand the other side as well because it's like for some people, if you mandate or like you have laws set in place where they can't charge you for this, they can't charge you for that, like there's going to be a big segment of our population that is going to do anything and wish and dare you to say anything about them just chilling. Where like a society, it doesn't even have to be like a full functioning civilization, but just like it takes work to keep these things together. So
yeah,
if
but not a lot. That's the thing. You know what
I'm
I'm
not
saying?
saying, yeah, I'm not talking. Yeah.
I'm a, I'm I'm
It really is a lot to some. Cause I mean, everything that we're doing now. Well, not maybe not everything. We can cut out some stuff, but like the effort that we put in forcibly would still probably have to be done. Under our own governing.
yeah,
So
and we work as a community, and we just make what we need. We make the stuff we need, we produce what we need, and that's it. Like I'm trying to get people to think in imagine a world, like it doesn't have to be the way that it is, at all, at all, at all, at all. It's just the
what?
way that it's this way because it makes money for these corporations. They want things to be the way that they are.
Well,
I think it doesn't take much for people to really be happy, and that's the reason why they never find happiness. They keep on buying. The corporations are telling you to keep buying more stuff, and that's how you're going to find your happiness, and you never find it.
well, I mean, I'm not sure if that's something that like find anywhere. You know, the definitions are blurred. What it really is because especially when we're talking about a way of living because I mean no matter what, like I said, I mean, before we had a high functioning civilization, you know, washing your clothes took you traveling down to the lake and this, that, and the other, where you can walk right into the next room and throw stuff in the washer, come back an hour, they're clean.
and
But
and and but look, but just try to look at it from a different way. If you don't have to go to work all day, then you ain't tripping about it taking a while for your clothes to get done.
well, no, I get the concept. I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, like, okay, people are meant to grow, because at some point, you when you don't have anything to live for, you just kind of die off. But uh and that's trying to really stand up for the fact that everybody needs to work the way that they have been, because I'm sure there's a good middle ground we can find. But I think for the people that are empowered to try to um I guess utilize what they can the way they do, is because of the fear that if they don't, people will run off and not, what I'm saying, the things that's needed to be done, people won't do because everything is already taken care of for them.
No, but that's not what it's gonna be. People are gonna need shoes. It's
I,
just like back in the
I,
day, in the past. You know what? Like I was saying before, whatever you're good at, like you had the blacksmiths. You
mhm.
had the shoe people. You had everything
Yeah,
that what that's the work that you do. Helping, and it's for the community. It's what
y-
everybody needs.
yeah. I'm not
Everybody.
saying that that's not my mindset that I'm trying to express to you. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like, based on what you know the people who are in power, these big corporations, and this,
that's
that,
how
and the
they
other.
think.
In the way that they look, so they gotta keep putting the whip on you, and they need to keep they don't need you to relax for too long, because if you do, then you know what I'm saying, everything
You're gonna
will
start waking up
you'll
and being
fall.
like, I'm
Well,
I'm I'm getting fucked. Like this situation is really foul. Like I'm getting fucked, but we so busy, and then we watch these TV shows. So that's all it is. They make we make some of the best television. There ain't no lie about that shit. Like the stuff that they make, and that's the reason why people
what
like they
no the
work
only
all
reason
day.
why it's good the only reason why it's good is because they've incorporated our real life into into TV. I mean, it's relatable, like it's totally like exactly what we're dealing with. That's the only reason why it seems so exceptional, because it fits right into what we see day to day. But
Let me read the comments. Elliot says it's really much you can save, how to invest your money and let it work for you. And that's what I mean. Like once you've bought what you need, you have the stuff you need, then you good. You got your assets. Another comment, he says, the more you make, the less present you are gonna be as a parent, typically. Typically. And
well,
he says,
go ahead.
go, the last comment, he says, we eat for taste and not for energy or medicine.
Yeah, well, that is true. I look at one of my posts this week, or early at the end this weekend, was I'm addicted to sugar. I must, say what, like the AAs, like, hey guys, my name is such and such, and I'm addicted to sugar, and that's really the root of it. But yeah, we're not doing the things that is really healthy for us, just because of, like, that's a part of the control as well. Like, shit, how many people go to work just to make sure, like, so they can be able to go and look, I want this certain kind of food, I want this kind of, and it's like a lot of it doesn't really have the nutritional benefits that your body really needs. It's just that it feels good to you. You know what I'm saying? So I agree again. That is definitely
Let me read a couple of comments, and I'm gonna move on. These are comments underneath the video. Um, it says the fact that this video will be considered anti-capitalist goes to show just how broken our system is. Another comment, it says, I've always felt this way about America's obsession with overworking, and I've always been looked down upon as either an idealist or someone who is unrealistic. There are few options to not be working 40 plus hours in the professional world, and to work less than 40 is to be viewed as lesser, and it comes with fewer opportunities.
Or
We are
lazy.
Yep. We are a nation of slaves, and I wonder why I feel like the only person who doesn't agree with spending their entire life devoted to earning a paycheck.
He's
Another
not the
comment.
only one.
Another comment. It says, "This is why, as a young American, I've seriously been considering immigrating to somewhere like Norway, Ireland, or the Netherlands." Yeah, that's definitely a white guy. Let me read another comment. It says, "America is the third world country wearing a Gucci belt." Let me read that again. He says, "America is a third world country wearing a Gucci belt."
Yeah.
That makes
And
sense.
then they make it so attractive for other foreigners to come here and be upset with people who's been living here to not that they don't appreciate what they have so that they can come in and be a slave next to us or try to be a slave above us. You know what I'm saying? Like so crazy how that really works because like I understand like some of the things that they deal with within their own country aren't the greatest, and okay, just them having an opportunity to make some money and actually have a home and do a lot of the things that some of us do take for granted, but uh, it's just the fact that okay, you're running over here to be a slave. You know, can it be a high paid slave? Yeah, but
Yep.
uh, you know,
And we got a lot of high paid slaves. They put them on TV. And anyways, let me read some more comments. It says, "Everyone I work with has at least two jobs and can barely afford to survive. I decided I decided to exit this system and moved into my car. Turned out to be the best decision so far. I was able to save money and buy an RV. I now have 3-day weekends and can save most of my income. Still bad health care and minimum vacation days, but at least I can save up enough to leave the country at some point."
hmm.
Um, Another comment, it says, "Why do we treat companies more respectfully than actual human beings?"
They're persons too.
It's crazy. Another comment, it says, "If you do not know you are a slave, how do you fight to be free?" Yinming Park. It says, "The vast majority of Americans still believe that one's financial status is determined only by effort. If you're poor, it's your own fault. Can't get a high paying job? Go to college. Don't have a spare 50,000? Maybe your parents shouldn't have been so lazy and earned more. Too bad. It's not my fault you're lazy. Just pull yourself up by your bootstraps."
Hmm. And I couldn't find that video. I don't if maybe I think I might have sent it anyway already, but maybe I didn't. Well, I don't know. Maybe I sent it to you. Oh, you know what? Here, give me a second. I think I might have sent it to. Um.
I'm going to read a couple more comments. It says, "What I found from working in fast food and retail is that if you work hard, you aren't rewarded. You are simply given more work. A workforce is often propped up by a tiny minority who actually do the job well, while the majority get less work than the hard workers do, despite the fact all the staff are paid the same." Man, I'm gonna have to say that's pretty much true everywhere. It doesn't have to be fast food. Literally everywhere, it's like that. Couple of people carrying the whole fucking load. Let me read some more. It says, I've been plumbing for 3 years, and if this video isn't the truest thing ever, then I don't know what is. I despise the trades, the hours, and most importantly, 99% of the people. Yet they tell you plumbing should be your passion and life goal while you wake up at 5 a.m. every day with body pains of a 70-year-old at the age of 21, only to go work 11 hours a day to make just enough to feed yourself each week. It's fucking disgusting. I lost my job 2 weeks ago, and I honestly never want to go back to the fucking races in my life because if I do, then I won't have a life. Paints a perfect picture as to why so many men are drunks or kill themselves because their only two options are to destroy themselves inside out for a little bit of money or go find happiness, but go piss poor broke in the process. Another comment, it says, I used to work for a company in Montreal, Quebec that had an important partnership with New York. And you guys, you are intense. This American girl spent 3 weeks at our office and she proudly said she would stay in the office until 2 a.m. just to get the project. Do a certain transfer on time instead of waiting the next morning like a regular person, or just tell the client that we are human beings getting good night's sleep at 2 a.m. and postpone the thing. For her, it was perfectly normal, and she looked at us as if we were lazy for going out for beers after work and getting a life. All my American contacts were like that to different levels, but from our perspective, they were always difficult to work with because they did not have limits or boundaries with work. I was regularly receiving emails at insane hours from people working in the same time zone as I was, and one girl was impressed that we were not doing 12-hour days. In a way, it was sad. Two more comments. For no amount of money, I would ever choose to live in the USA. It's an awesome country in many ways. I'm thankful for all the dope tech that was invented there, for example. But living there as an average person always sounds like absolute hell to me. Another comment, it says, USA is not a nation, it's an industrial complex. People work, eat, sleep, and repeat with zero social, cultural, family values throughout the country. Woo! I'm gonna stop beating up. There goes the American exceptionalism. So yeah, do y'all get it? Do y'all get it? Yeah, you get it. Let me go to. I'm really kind of curious because Biden did a speech earlier, apparently, because it keeps going down my timeline. I don't know how long ago it happened, but I wanted to cover this shit right quick too. I got Sarah Palin. Freaking Tyrese got to pay $10K a month in child support for his 3-year-old daughter. Remember that video? What more do you want from me? Apparently, $10K a month is the answer. Mississippi and drinking water. I'm gonna go back to that, but let me see. Let me see. Can I get that Biden shit on my timeline right quick? And then I'm going to open Facebook and see the stuff that Pat sent. But I kind of want to see. I think it's going to be here. Let me see. Wait. Let me read the comments. Elliot says, I'm behind on the comments. He said, Americans are comfortable with cheap commodities and the government capitalizes on greed. He says, when they freed the slaves, they enslaved the free. Totalitarian tiptoe. Man, I think that's what John F. Kennedy was trying to say. That's why they killed him. He says, man, send me the link to the video or tell me the name. What video? Because we got multiple. The one that I just played? It's Work Obsession. Second Thought is the name of the channel. I don't know how I would send you the link. I guess I could send it through Facebook.
Who was that?
That's Elliot.
All right. You know what? The video that I'm thinking about, I think is in a different place than what it might have been a reel or something. I don't remember exactly, but it's not where I thought it was.
I was saying your buddy, your friend, the man you like to vote for, Biden, did a speech.
Tonight, today,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And let me see. I'm sure a clip is gonna pop up on my timeline. I'm gonna look for it. But did
I
you hear
wa-
any of it?
no, well, no, I got more. I didn't actually hear it, but I got a lot of responses from it.
What did you get? Tell me.
Oh,
Oh, here goes the Argentina chick. Oh, snap. This is what you sent me right here earlier.
yeah.
Popped up on my timeline. Is there sound? When I first looked at it, I was like, it doesn't look real. Like the gun doesn't look real or something, but I think that was real. And something happened. Maybe the gun jammed. He didn't have it loaded. He fucked up. Damn, he was about to shoot her in her face, bruh.
Yes.
She would have been done too. What the fuck is her security doing? This for y'all that don't know, the caption, it says Vice President of Argentina, Cristina Kirchner. She freaking they tried to
She had an
assassinate
attempt on her life. Yeah, there was an attempt on her life.
her.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so much shit going on in South America, bro. You go look at it, like, because I believe, like, I mean, some of the things that they're going through, they're trying to make solid alliances with different countries that's, I guess you could say, popular or has good resources, things that they can benefit from. And there's countries who don't like that. So, you know what I'm saying? This was meant to send a message, which I'm sure it did send a message, but it was the whole the whole message didn't play out the way they thought it would.
Yeah, the guy was from Brazil.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe it was just kind of like a stunt. I mean, who knows? That shit.
Man,
That shit crazy.
a stunt.
That video is shocking to me because it's like the guy was about to shoot this chick in the face. What the hell was the security doing? How the hell he get so close to her to put a gun in her face?
Well, I mean, that's the same way, kind of how it happened with Reagan back in the day. I mean, their security isn't quite, may not be quite as high as what ours has evolved to at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, I mean, in the 80s, shoot, and before, like, they started implementing different things to protect the president more, or even the vice president. So they're just not in Argentina. They're just not at that level yet. I mean, shoot, and one of the reasons why our Secret Service can operate the way it does is because of the way it's funded.
That shit was on my timeline on the freaking. That's why I hate it when I just be looking for stuff like this. It's better when I could search it. I guess I'll search it. But I
Search
wanted a
for it.
clip. I wanted a good clip because I saw one already earlier. I can't find it now. A little clip of the Biden thing.
Yeah, I heard how he was like going, like he like totally went back to the 1970s, 1960s and 70s Joe Biden with the whole, um, blacks and blacks and Latinos can't afford to buy a house, so You know, they need the student loan debt relief and like like saying some like boisterous racist bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like don't not you know what I'm saying, not really addressing the real problems that they've been denying a fair, like you know what I'm saying, like and then yeah, the other thing that I saw where he's saying like you know uh if you support MAGA or like pretty much anybody that says America first, if you support that type of thing, you're the threat to democracy. And like this person, talking about equality and democracy. And it's like, bro, like when has anything been equal here? You know what I'm saying? Like equal for like what are you talking about? Like people don't even get equal ass whoopings around here. Like you people go to jail for like there's people in jail for less than an ounce of marijuana that's locked up for 10 years. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, and corporations that kill people and just have to pay fines.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
If all right, come on.
What's happening in our country today is not normal. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. Now, I want to be very clear,
At least he called
very clear up front. Not every Republican, not even the majority of Republicans are MAGA Republicans. Not every Republican embraces their extreme ideology. I know, because I've been able to work with these mainstream Republicans. We must be honest with each other and with ourselves. Too much of what's happening in our country today is not normal. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. Now, I want to be very clear up front. Not every Republican, not even the majority of Republicans are MAGA Republicans. Not every Republican embraces their extreme ideology. I know, because I've been able to work with these mainstream Republicans. We must be honest with each other.
Okay.
That's his biggest problem, his biggest fear is that he'll run again and he's gonna have to face Trump again and he will win. Like that's like everything. Like if you think about all the stuff that's been going on this year, it's been trying to manipulate the thoughts of people to to make them more angry with Trump, even though like everywhere they look, there's no proof of him doing anything. There's no proof anywhere of wrongdoing or any of that, but they have gotten into the minds of people. Because I mean, as far as the January 6th, like nobody went in there with guns shooting up the place and doing this and doing that. Yeah, they went on a tour. They're on. I'm being funny, but to some extent, but January 6th. I mean, yeah, somebody got hurt, but it was one of the fools that ran up in there. But at the same time, like they're trying to demonize one person because other Americans are angry with the way that they're uh, running the country. Different things that they're trying to impose on people. Where if I'm free, then you can't tell me that I have to do this or do that. And I think that's where like a lot of the problems are with these extreme, what we're calling extreme Republicans. But we're like there's people that's also concerned about the extreme liberals, the extreme Democrats that's on the far left trying to do things that force us to do things that we don't want to do. And don't what I'm saying, don't say that we got equality and we got freedom and we got all these other things when you're trying to shove things down our throat and that we don't want.
Let me
You know.
read the comments. I'm behind. I don't even know if I could see these earlier, but Doc says it's a water pistol. I guess that's why I was playing it. He says proved he could get to her. He says nope. Official release says it was a handgun that jammed. He says yet burning down courthouses and police stations and operating a separatist state, Chaz Chap is perfectly okay. And he says the entire problem with 45 would go away if he said he won't run again.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't gonna say that because he gonna run. Let me read this. It says USA to Ukraine. Here's eight. I don't know how much is that. $8 billion. USA to Israel. Here's $3.3 billion. I guess is that trillion. I don't know. USA to Taiwan. Here's one. What is that? $1 billion. USA to Mississippi. Don't drink the water.
Hmm.
And this post right here, it says Mississippi doesn't have drinkable water. Texas doesn't have working power grid. Florida doesn't have enough teachers. This is what happens when Republican leaders focus more on banning abortion, punishing LGBT teachers, and suppressing votes than serving their constituents.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, I think at the same time, when you're looking at, you know, Texas having to spend funds on things that they shouldn't, like the border, like protecting the border, money being sent all over the world that should be useful here. That yeah, you can try to pick out things because I mean, none of us are perfect, but at the same time, I mean, you're gonna be, I know a lot of times people speak, based on their their political leanings, but I don't really see where the Democrats are much better because, like you said, like we just pointed out, like they gave tips, big, huge monetary tips to these other countries, and then the tip they had for Mississippi was don't drink the water. Like really? Like you couldn't send a $500 million. You couldn't send some money to Mississippi for them to be able to correct their problems, like get some shit moving. Really?
It's like bore the water. Just bore the water. Yeah, just do that.
Yeah. But I mean, but see, people miss that. I mean, Flint still has the same problem they had 3 years ago.
Yep,
4 years.
I think
How,
it's
how
it's
long
been
ago?
longer
4 years
than
ago?
3. Yeah, I think
That's
it's
what I'm
longer than
saying.
3.
Yeah, that's well. This, well, still, that I mean,
Yeah,
that's still what I mean. However
still
long
valid.
it's
Yeah,
been, yeah, they still dealing with the same crap, but other people across the world are getting their needs met by the United States, and we're not.
let me play this clip because it's interesting. Oh, is Vice? Can I get away with this? They're gonna play clips from the show. I don't know if I can play it. Damn, I wanted to play this. But did y'all watch that show, Queen of the South? Because it was pretty good.
Oh
Um,
hell yeah! I didn't see all of. I start watching some of it, and like at one point I was like, man, this shit is way too gangster. I don't know, like shit, this it got kind of scary to some extent because it was too real, and then it was about Texas.
that shit was real. Look, so the lady who they were talking about in the show is suing them. She wants to get paid. Let me read the caption. It says Netflix and Spanish TV company Telemundo will not pay a single cent to a former Mexican narco queen for allegedly using her image to promote a series based on her life. Sandra Avila Beltran, known as the Queen of the Pacific, is hoping to claim a cut of the profits made by the two companies for the Queen of the South series, which is based on her criminal career. If the lawsuit proceeds, the case will be decided in Mexico's Supreme Court.
They better pay up.
She's talking. Hold on.
Together to fight back against Avila's request, saying they won't pay a single cent because the story is of public interest. Avila's attorney, Israel Razo, alleged that the companies must pay up to 40% of all the revenues generated by the series during its 11 years of continuous airing for using Avila's image without consent and to their own benefit. In April 2019, Telemundo used news footage from her arrest to promote the series' second season, which is now being shown on Netflix.
Is she locked up?
Apparently, it looks like, because they said they used her arrest. I don't know if she's locked up now, but it looks like she was talking in this interview. Did they talk to her, the real person? Hold on, let me see, because I don't want to play it until it pops back up, because they got a lot going on here. They got music playing and everything. El Chapo.
They better think wisely. You know, try to make some kind of negotiation.
Avila Beltran was allegedly the connection between the Sinaloa cartel and Colombia cocaine producers.
Oh, I thought she was talking, but that was her. So it don't look like she's in jail.
Well, look, I'm just gonna say this. I'm just gonna say this. I don't know this woman, but I'm gonna tell you. I mean, you talking about cocaine movement through Mexico and Texas, or the like, because we forget what's his name, El Chapo. This is just the female version of it. Maybe a lot smaller, but like I'm gonna tell you,
maybe bigger.
Maybe bigger. You never know. We don't know what kind of stuff is really being moved, but I mean, El Chapo was moving stuff worldwide. This is something that they, even like based on the story, this was something that was mostly, national, or like within I mean, Texas is still really, I mean, it's pretty much Mexico.
Yeah, this is everything. This is the corridor. That's the corridor right there. Yeah, Mexico, Texas corridor. That shit's coming from all around the world. Let me read the comments. Yeah, or going.
Going around the world, I would say.
Let me read the comments. Doc says, so Taco Bell got voted the best Mexican restaurant in America. I think this is a perfect this is a perfect example of why we need the Electoral College.
Man, shut the fuck up.
It shows how retarded our citizens are. Shit.
Well, man, hold on. So we, all right, I know we look. I don't even consider Taco Bell Tex-Mex. Like, what's the Taco Cabana? Like, okay, look, if you had said that, look, I won't give you as much of an under eye, but bro, come on.
Yeah. Let me read the other comment.
El Maggie, or like something authentic. Shit.
Well, he said that's what was voted. That just shows how.
I know, but I mean, come on. Like, we listen to who's sending the message. Like, he's being facetious at the same time. Like,
yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's so okay. Is this a real story? I'm asking. Doc.
Probably. Let me read the other comment. He says, Queen of the South is a good series, but the Mexican and the U.S. versions. He says, she was the one that got the Colombians and the cartels involved. See? Boss. And he says, Taco Bell is a gringo Mex. Bong Mex. Oh my God, bro! You can't leave nobody out, right? He's gotta offend everyone. I can't leave nobody out. Yeah, everybody can get some.
Yeah, I mean, but no, that's how it needs to be. And I appreciate you for that, Doc. You're not leaving me out here by myself.
Let me see. You had sent. Did you send me some stuff on Facebook, right?
Yeah, a few things.
Let me see. Oh, the other thing was Sarah Palin. Hold on. She won. I mean, she lost Alaska. Let me see. Play this.
What? Alaskans want Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi. I am ruined in Alaska.
Democrat Mary.
Really? Alaskans want Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi?
A Democrat Mary Peltola defeated Sarah Palin and will take a House seat that has been in Republican control for 49 years. It says this is the first time a Democrat has won a House race in Alaska in 50 years. This on the heels of the NY19 special election makes for a trend that Democrats can win the House in November. But the ranked choice voting. Alaska had put in the ranked choice voting, so that's really what happened. This is interesting to me, just because Sarah Palin. I'm sure a lot of people remember when she ran when she almost became vice president
Well,
of the United States.
She was running with Mr. Stiff Arms, the McCain.
Yeah.
When against Obama.
Yeah.
And yeah. So I mean, that's where she got her popularity from, because John McCain actually put her on the stage, trying to give us a female vice president or whatever, but
it didn't work out for them.
No.
She may have not been the best choice. She was like, we can see Russia from our backyard.
Oh God. Yeah, that right there just.
She launched that lady's career on Saturday Night Live. I can't think of her name. Doc probably knows who I'm talking about. The chick who played, she did the Sarah Palin impressions, and she really blowed up off of that because she did a great job with that. It was really funny.
Yeah.
Let me play some.
I can't recall either, because I don't really watch so much anymore. SNL.
Oh wait, am I sharing? I need to make sure I'm sharing. No, I'm not sharing. Yeah. I'm gonna play some of this breakdown of Tina Fey. He put the name up there. Yeah, wasn't she the one in anyways, I'm gonna start getting distracted. Anyways, he says she was part of the reason McCain didn't win. They let her talk. Yeah, I think she was part of the reason why. I think she was part of the reason why he didn't win. They wanted a female. They was doing it, but they picked the wrong one.
But did he go up? I think McCain was going up against Trump too in the primaries, I guess, at some point, because I remember Trump saying something like, "America likes winners, not losers, not somebody that got caught." Like,
yeah, that was later. And what was kind of crass about that, because he died. But yeah, so like that was later. Trump wasn't in it at that same time, but he was talking about it because he had lost. Let me play this.
And it's a fight for what is right.
For the first time since 1972, Democrats now hold the single Alaska House seat, with Sarah Palin losing her race against Democrat Mary Peltola, who actually won on her 49th birthday. So in this video, I will get into what happened here, how Sarah Palin lost. Also keeping in mind, this is just to write out the remaining of Don Young's term. Don Young, who died in March. So there's going to still be another election in November to see who will hold that seat for the next 2 years. But still, this is a massive victory. And as I'll get to, the voting system in Alaska, the new voting system, is definitely what helped lead to this. So first off,
of course,
here's the result. Peltola, 51.5% to 48.5% for Sarah Palin. Let me show you the reaction in the room when Peltola won, and I'm going to show you her clips back to back with Sarah Palin. So you're going to see just two very different candidates. And also later in the video, I will show you one of Mayor Peltola's campaign ads that also shows you a very different kind of politician compared to Sarah Palin.
With 91,206 votes, and Sarah Palin with 85,902.
Very good news. I'm very happy.
Yeah, when it comes down to second and third place votes, that's gonna decide who's going to win? I mean, really? Alaskans want Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi?
Well, just a tremendous sense of gratitude and appreciation for the people who've put trust in me to fill out the remainder of Congressman Young's term. Like you said, he's represented Alaska very well for the last 49 years, and it's just a tremendous honor to come in and finish out the remainder of his term. And I intend to be, in so many ways, really trying to live up to the legacy that Don laid for Alaska and champion and work for all Alaskans.
We have just begun, and it's a fight for what is right for Alaska and for our nation. And I do repeat that you don't need a title, you don't need an office to make a difference. So we're going to get out there using whatever tools and forums and formats that we have to fight for what's right.
So
Okay. Comments. Doc says they gave her the most secure seat in the U.S. and she lost it.
For real. And that my thought about that was like, okay, Alaskans are just sick of her. You know what I'm saying? I think of Palin because I mean I don't really know much about this new lady, but I think that at some point when you only have if you got a seat for 40, well, of course she hadn't held the seat for 49 years, but like when you have influence in that department and you're not making significant changes for the people, like at some point they're gonna say we need a change.
And he's gonna mention that about because she was governor and she quit being governor to go be a reality TV show.
No, that's not what happened. She was gonna be she was like trying to push her political career more. Like she had the chance to be a vice president. So I mean, shit. If people considered Kamala a potential president, shoot, Palin got just as much, like I guess ability as she does, as Kamala. So
let me play some more of this.
Two very different candidates there. Sarah Palin, unable to accept her loss, complaining about the voting system. I'll get to the ranked choice voting system in Alaska, the new voting system there in a minute, how that played a part. But, instead of just graciously conceding and talking about the hard work that her campaign put in and how she's going to fight in November to win the seat back, just complaining about how the voting works. And Alaskans really chose, Joe Biden, Sarah Palin.
It's surprising to me too.
No, they chose Mary Peltola. That's who they chose. And here is how Peltola won this seat. So Peltola cobbled together a winning coalition in the special election by appealing to the same independent streak and devotion to Alaskan interests that Mr. Young was known for. Her father and the longtime congressman were close friends, and as a young girl, she would tag along as he campaigned for Mr. Young. But she sharply diverges from Mr. Young and her top Republican opponents, including Ms. Palin, in her support for abortion rights, her concern about climate change, and her calls for developing Alaska's resources with greater sensitivity to the needs of local communities. So in a minute here, I'll get to, as I discussed earlier, one of her campaign ads that again shows how she separated herself in this race. But you can see here, even though Peltola is viewed as issues, on that point, question Palin's commitment to Alaska.
This is it right here. Check this.
Favorite in Alaska that she once was is because of Palin and not necessarily because of the reason why Palin lost is because of Palin and not necessarily because of Peltola. So Palin, not the maybe the biggest favorite in Alaska that she once was. So during the campaign, critics questioned Palin's commitment to Alaska, citing her decision to resign as governor in July 2009, partway through her term. Palin went on to become a conservative commentator on TV and appeared in reality television programs, among other pursuits. Palin has insisted her commitment to Alaska never wavered and said ahead of the special election that she had signed up for the long haul. So Palin here in Alaska, viewed as sort of someone who left the state to go and try and make it big in Hollywood, or, as a Fox News commentator. I mean, left in the middle of her term as governor to go and try and be a celebrity. So you can understand why many in Alaska maybe don't trust her to continue fighting for the interests of the people of Alaska. But I'm going to show you now one of the campaign ads that Mary Patola put out, and you can again.
Yeah, so basically Sarah Palin, she like Doc said, it was a slam dunk for her. Well, it should have been. Let me read the comments. Doc says, it's just a 2-year placeholder for governor that died, but still, and the rep that died, not governor. Yeah. So I had something else. Damn it, I lost it, y'all. Give me a second. I lost my train of thought. Oh, the art. I want to go to the art. That's what I want to do. Because I kind of been doing art segments. I want to do another one. Let me see. There's a video that's pretty good.
You said you've been doing art?
Yeah, I did a few art segments. If you haven't seen them, man, go check them out. I did clips of them too. They're on the channel. It's pretty cool, man. I like to do that. But this time I'm gonna do the African art. Let me see. And you was talking about the matriarch, and that shows through in the art. Let me see. Is this it right here? I think this is it.
We hope you learned a little bit more about the function of art in African culture. Hi, my name is Camila.
And I'm Maeve, and welcome to Car Academy. In this episode, we will be delving into African art.
Our first piece is in the southern hemisphere of the African Congo,
Did she say
where the
I'm
Chokwe
me?
tribe is located. We're looking at
The what?
Did she say I'm me?
I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think so. So this is the Poimas Chokwe tribe right here. This is a female. She's gonna explain it. Let me play some.
the female Puo mask made around the 19th to 20th century.
This mask belongs to a people who functioned under a matriarchy, as opposed to a patriarchy. It was created out of wood, fiber, pigment, and metal.
If you look at the face, you'll notice the nearly closed eyes surrounded by white clay to symbolize wisdom and serenity, because Chokwe women were respected for their ability to have children.
Respected for their ability to have children. That sounds like something that's lost in our culture today. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
So a piece like this helps you, remind you of things, bring it back,
Yeah.
The mouth is also closed to carry on this idea of peace. The woman portrays the wisdom that comes from motherhood and age, which is why it was used to honor the founding female ancestor, Puo.
These masks have symmetrical faces with a naturalistic form, although it also has geometric abstraction. We can see small ears with stylish earrings, jewelry that reflects what was popular at the time.
If you look to the headpiece, you can notice the coiffure detailing, which is commonly used in art to represent status or honor an individual or ideal.
There's also a cosmogram marked on the forehead and right cheek, a flat geometric figure depicting cosmology.
The Puo mask was used by the Chokwe peoples in ritualistic or religious ceremonies.
This was to pay homage to female beauty that came from these matriarchal mothers and to honor the female ancestors of the Chokwe peoples. Puo actually means founding mother.
And it also served as an initiation ceremony for young men separating from their mothers. Sihango also means founding father.
So regarding these lively ceremonies, the Puo masks were worn by men with fiber costumes. They would sport fake breasts and carry fly whisks.
So what's really interesting to me about that is the man inside of the woman. And that's what I was talking about before, about the robes. In Catholicism and the Western religions, the robes. So it's very similar to this. So in this one, it's like, okay, the dudes dress up as women to pay homage to the women, to give respect to it or whatever. Um, so, but the religions, the modern religions, that the ones that we live under, do the same thing, but they don't, they're not saying it out loud. Like you have to know to understand, like the symbols. And I was talking about the columns, that they have. Those represent the birth canal. That's why they're like that. And then the Pope comes out of birth canal. And those images, the images of the Virgin Mary is a vagina. It is what it is. I don't want to lose y'all, but let me play some more.
Next, we're going to move on to the portrait or mblo mask made by the Bali peoples in 1900 CE.
Found in the Kami village in West Africa, this mask is made from wood and pigment.
Its polished surface conveys this message of purity and health.
And the complex tube-like coiffures are actually an elaborate hairstyle, not a crown.
We can also see the scarification around the eyes and jawline.
This mask, much like the po, is very stylistic and is meant to emphasize what its culture believed was most beautiful and honorable about women.
Men of the Bali peoples would usually give an mblo mask to women for their dancing skills or beauty.
This beauty that the Bal peoples wanted to capture would include a lot of facial symmetry, refined, almost abstract features, and the high forehead or large eyes would be symbolic of introspection.
And that's another piece that's paying homage to women. And what struck out to me about this piece is the where they said that the top part is not a crown, that it's in hairstyle. And then it's like, I think a lot of the old art pieces and depictions that we have, we think they're crowns and they're really hairstyles. I think that some of the stuff from the Egyptian stuff that we have that we misinterpret, it appears to be a crown, but it's a hairstyle. And then you have the chicks that walk around today and they say that's your crown. It's your hair. Your hair is your crown.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you think about that?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I mean, there's a lot of things that we've done in the past that would be considered more of I guess, a local tradition for those people, and I think that head covering is one of the big things that that existed with a high form, like it's means something. Like it's not just okay, they just threw it on, So yeah,
it was they was looking back at the art and they thought that it was a crown, but it wasn't. It was a hairstyle. So that people misunderstand.
This mblo mask in particular is actually a portrait of Moya Yanso. It would be used for religious dancing ceremonies and would be kept out of sight if it wasn't being used for these ceremonies.
The artist who carved this mask was male, named Awi Kimo. While it was used for Moya Yanzo, it was commissioned by her husband.
Now onto the power figure, or Nkisi Nkandi, of the Congo peoples in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Dating back to the late 19th century CE, this wooden figurine holds a lot of meaning to its people.
The simple fact that it's anthropomorphic in the first place is meant to signify its role in human affairs.
These little guys were created with geometric abstraction and had an enlarged belly button with cowrie shells placed on its abdomen, perhaps as a symbol for fertility, in remembrance of their ancestors, or even to signify wealth.
Cowrie shells were actually used as a form of currency in this region.
Now take a look at the wide eyes and imposing stance of this wooden figure.
This intimidating aspect of the Congo power figure was meant to ensure that no other force would mess with its given job, and a very important one at that.
Yes, these power figures were a part of an important ritual and often included medicinal materials placed inside the belly button, aka muya, and covered by a piece of glass. Once the belly is covered in glass, nails, blades, cowrie shells, etc., called bilongo, this would call upon spirits.
This glass would often be a symbol of the other world or spirit world. Connections to the supernatural played a large role in the life of the Congo peoples.
And as a bit of a backstory, the Ni-Congo was the god who gave the first medicine to the Nganga to put into Nkisi. Nkisi refers to spirit or spiritual medicine.
The Nganga refers to the holy person who would create the power figure and place whatever material was needed for the job into its muya. Remember the bilongo that included blade, nails, and other things? When it activated the dolls, it was because the Nganga driving these materials into the doll would anger it and rouse it into action.
Now, each of these power figures are very unique in their look and purpose.
They recorded contracts or obligations for their patrons, and if this contract was broken, it was believed that the doll would seek revenge. This is why the Nganga would include all that glass, nails, and other objects on its back. It was meant to make the aspect of the doll's revenge even more terrifying.
And sometimes people would commission these dolls purely to seek revenge. Animal parts would be added onto the belly, like dog teeth or bird claws.
This is actually where the inspiration for voodoo dolls comes from.
Now, it's important to remember that the power figures had a duality to them. They could be both good or bad, based on the intentions of its patron.
So they said that's where they got the idea of the voodoo doll from. So like where they think, that's what inspired that idea of the voodoo doll. And I think it's interesting where they say, it's about the duality. One side of it is it can be bad or whatever, and the other side is good or whatever. It could be used for either whatever you want to use it for, right? And then it's interesting how it's like, communing with the spirits or whatever. They was using some kind of drug whenever they do this, and then they do a ritual and they're communing with the spirits. That's interesting. It's like it's really the basis of all religions. Let me play some more.
And these dolls were very popular among the Congo peoples, commissioned for various personal reasons.
The reason we know so much about them is thanks to oral traditions that passed their history down.
Unfortunately, many of the dolls were destroyed by missionaries in the late 19th century.
They came in and they said, that's paganism, that's evil, that's the devil.
We're now moving on to the Igbo peoples of Nigeria. We have in front of us the Ikenga, or shrine figure crafted out of wood during the 19th and 20th centuries.
Right, the shrine figure we're looking at has these large ram horns. These were meant to establish confidence and ambition. In fact, all Ikenga figures were styled with ram horns.
Yeah, and the reason they did this was to give to younger males as a symbol of strength and protection. The shrine figures were used as guardians to achieve success in all endeavors. The name Ikenga even translates to place of strength.
If you look closely at the figure, you can see that it's holding a sword in its right hand, representing strength. Conversely, the left hand is holding a severed head, symbolizing profession.
It says severed head symbolizing profession. I don't know if she's right about that part, but I did some studying on this in the Americas, and the severed head is a symbol for ancient peoples here in the Americas. It was very common in their iconology too. Very common.
This is why males often had their own Ikenga figure dedicated to personal ambition, ability, and strength.
Sometimes men would even sacrifice chicken or koala nuts to Ikenga for success in trade, war, hunting, farming, or even jobs.
That's right. The Igbo used these shrine figures as a symbol of male power and vigor. Sometimes these figures would have a pipe in their mouths, further expressing this male power.
If you take a closer look, you can see a bit of scarification on the forehead, which was associated with membership in titled society.
Moving back to the Democratic Republic of the Congo, we are now looking at the Lukesa, or memory board, used by the Luba peoples.
These memory boards were wooden boards covered with beads, metal, and shells that were curved and narrow in the middle so it could fit in the...
What's up?
I had to
did
show my
what?
face for y'all boys, man. I've been in jail, man. I've been on lockdown. Hey Pat, I
Oh.
sure appreciate you building me out. But look here, I'm gonna need a little money for a hotel room and something to eat.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that later, man. Let's let's get back to the matter the matter at hand.
Yeah.
How you feel, man? It's good to see you, man.
Pretty good, man. Shit, we just made it back to the yard, so I was able to got back here to the plant, so I was able to get on. Yeah. But I'm feeling pretty good, man. How about y'all, man?
Good.
That's
I
good.
mean, under the circumstances.
I feel you. I
You seen
feel you.
any of this stuff with Biden and his meeting tonight?
I heard him talking about that whole deal about the Republicans are the ones about with the Roe versus Wade and something like that. Yeah, I kind of skimmed over it a little bit. Can't do too much listening, video, watching and stuff in the
Oh
truck.
yeah,
That damn camera sitting right in my face.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was at work too, so I didn't catch much of it either. But then too, it's hard to listen to Biden anyway, so I probably wouldn't have made it. I probably wouldn't have made it anyways.
Mhm.
He's full of it.
Yeah, man. Um, shit. I don't want to bore y'all. I really like the fucking art shit. What did y'all think about the art stuff?
I just came in on it, but what they were showing looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of moving around doing some stuff, so I didn't really see all of.
Yeah, I think that we need to bring art back, being creative and being able to appreciate art. I think that's one of the things that we were talking about how in the United States how we work so much, right? So that's the other side of working a lot is never really taking the time to what they say, smell the roses, appreciate art, you know, uh, that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's because it's not important because just making money is what's important. You don't have time to deal with art. That's why we don't even pay artists. They starve and die. They could be creating great stuff. And it's like, and that's why they tell you don't go to school for art either. You're not gonna make no money doing that. It's like, but I love making art. It brings me joy. Well, just go do something else that makes money because do your art stuff on the side. What they say, don't quit your day job.
Mm-hmm.
So what do y'all
Well,
think?
I mean, I think it's very important because like that's one of those things that really um, enhances someone's brilliance. That like being able to look at certain things uh, in a way that I mean, I guess others may not be able to, or your explanation and vision, like whether it's from the artist's perspective or even from the viewer's perspective, like it opens up so many different channels or portals in your brain. So I think art is very, very, very much important. Um, but like I said, I mean, we got to find a way to where that becomes more, because I mean, if you really think about it, like our school systems took away a lot of those things that really enhance the way we think for ourselves, because they want to do all of the thinking for us, which like that's where the beginning of taking freedoms away is, you know, taking your ability to think for yourself.
Yeah, what happened to shop class? And like, they barely have music. They barely have any of that
Yeah.
stuff anymore.
Yeah, my son right now is taking some music classes at school, but you know, he's practicing on the trombone and stuff, which I'm like, okay, I was a percussionist, but I think that'll be something good for him.
Yeah,
So
man. I played the clarinet
yeah,
and I did percussion too. Um, Look at this right here. I mentioned this earlier. It says U.S. life expectancy falls to its lowest level since 1996. There's a graph here.
your what falls?
Life expectancy, U.S. life
Oh yeah, yeah,
expectancy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw that. Yeah. That's a tricky one. Deuce, what you think about that?
Shit, I can see it. I mean, it's screwed, it's messed up, but I mean, I can see how, with everything that's going on, people are spending more time at work, and paying bills than anything else.
Mm, yeah.
So I can see that, and then the stresses, just the everyday stress, man, you know.
Yeah, that definitely I think changes because I mean we were talking earlier about the this system we're living in and what was the part of 'cause the exceptionalism, yeah,
Yeah,
um and which is the title of the show, American Exceptionalism, and going through all of the things that kind of what kind of a world that presents for us, and the amount of time people are spending working instead of really enjoying this dream that they've sold us of the American dream is just like,
Yeah.
and most people don't realize that we're really slaving, and we're working more than anybody else on the planet, and but we're supposed to be the freest people on the planet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, man.
yeah, and then maternity leave,
Oh yeah.
the lack of maternity leave, the lack of sick leave, you know, the lack of vacation time.
Yeah, all these things that they've start dwindling away because like I would say the people who are in power right now, the people that they grew up with, or that let's say the boomers we'll call the boomer age, like they started taking everything away from their own children, like the people that they raised, and like where unless you're like a part of a certain class, you're not gonna have the benefits that they had when they got to retirement age, or like, or even like you know because like I said, they even we even looked at where at one point, like back, let's say back in the 60s, a lot of people didn't even have to, like there was one working parent, the other parent is at home, taking care of the home and taking care of the children and things like that. And like we can't even like afford to do that because like now both parents have to work, or I mean, if we the dynamic that we didn't even throw in there, really, if I just thought about, like, I mean, so many divorces because of the weakening of the home, the household, or household. Um,
Exactly. That's a good point.
you
Because they're
know,
breaking the household by having both of them gone all the damn time. Everybody
exactly.
losing. The child's at the house by itself. The mom. They might love each other to death, but they don't get to spend much time. They spend more time with their work wife or work husband.
There's no real relationship and no true connectivity because like they're both on the same hustle and bustle, to where like they probably start to hate each other because like neither one of them can grow to the point to where they can change the dynamic of the household. And of course, usually it's probably the female that's like, looking at their male counterpart as, like
Not good
I,
enough.
I I look up to this my corporate boss more than I do my own husband. You know what I'm saying? Like she probably has fantasies about him.
Man, that it sounds crazy, bro, but I can see that, I can see that being true, like I think I expressed to you guys last week on Friday's podcast how, my wife and I was having this conversation of the fact that we're basically it's like we're in two different worlds, you know what I'm saying? We're on two different schedules, two different worlds, and then majority of the time she has to lay down alone. So, I get the fact of where she's coming from, like, hey, when you come home, I mean, I get it. I know you want to feel normal. I know you trying to do this or do that, but sometimes, hey, I'd like for you to come lay down with me. So, we lay down together and wake up together, but just that within itself, bro, just not having that, that time, but then also, you know, I think about that, but then I also think about too, like, well, you know, how can we how could we do what can we do to make this better where I can maybe be at home more, take something where I can be at home more. But then, I also have to think about with the job that she has, how flexible it is. She works for the school district. So if one of the kids gets sick, there's no problem with her taking off. If she got to do a half a day because one of the kids got a doctor's appointment in the morning, it's no problem with them doing that, as opposed to so I mean, she do is just maybe just look at changing other things, our living dynamics.
Yes.
What happened?
Yeah, the sound it's a buzzing sound.
It's on here. Bro, you got to sign in.
Let me play this.
Is that me?
Especially
Because
when
I just plugged in my headset to charge. So
Yeah, and it started buzzing. I can hear it a little bit still, but it's lower. It's kind of
Yeah,
going
it's
away, I
not
think.
as bad.
Let me play this right quick, y'all. This is Al
this has been
Jazeera.
an issue for me since I came down here to Tougaloo College in 1991. I was always told not to drink that water. When I came here to Jackson, it was smelling like chlorine.
I haven't had to use a bottle of water to brush my teeth and wash my face since I was deployed in the Middle East in combat.
I do it every day.
We are seeing the intentional divestment in communities that are led by Black elected officials. Extreme racist politics are being put before the people, and it's time that we put that to the side.
Who's doing that?
We've been in a boil water notice almost all summer, and before that, it happened like almost every other month. We're not numb to having to boil our water just to have some type of clean water to use.
They said the water could have E. coli in it.
It's a hurting feeling when you don't have no water, especially when you got newborn babies.
Yeah.
That's I mean, I think that's part of that movement to, like as far as weaponizing, I guess our food, our water, like different sources of, our different resources. So it's kind of, I'm not totally surprised by it, but I am. I mean, I guess to some extent, I'm not really surprised, but it's, I guess by me trying to really just soak in that, okay, we're really like here, like, because I mean, really, is it happening somewhere else that we just haven't recognized it on that to that extent yet?
Probably. More than likely, I would say.
Well, I mean, that's the mindset that we need to be looking at. That's like I'm asking the question to really, you know, allow others to think, okay, well, damn, I'm in a heavily,
Whatever
melanated.
city, whatever city, whatever city you're in, you probably should check your pipes or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Get on your administrators or whoever the hell on fucking making sure that y'all shit is right.
And shoot, I mean, shoot, you might
Check the
want
pipes
to
in your house too.
you might want to just test, start testing the water just because, find a way to do different, no matter where you are, because you just never know. Because, like I said, I mean, we've seen it right now on, melanated, cities and stuff like that on a mass scale. But I mean, we know that it's they're coming for everybody, whether they know it or not. They're coming for everybody, but this is something that they can exploit. Like that's one of the things where we can, get a lot of people involved in, talking is when do something to black people for whatever reason. I don't know, like why they try to get us upset first, so that we for one get involved in doing something, or I don't know, but
Yeah, Biden.
Give you my word as a Biden, I've never been more optimistic about America's future. Not because of me, but because of who you are. We're going to end cancer as we know it. Mark my words. Even in this moment, with all the challenges we face, I give you my word as a Biden, I've never been more optimistic about America's future. Not because of me, but because of who you are. We're going to end cancer as we know it. Mark my words.
these people ain't like the American Medical Association has never cured anything, and now he's so sure. I mean, like the technology is there; it's always been there. But like, what's going to be so different that I'm supposed to believe now that you give a shit about me and my health?
Biden has some good drugs before that performance. Maybe they doped him up with something.
Oh yeah, they got him. They gave him some of that adrenochrome. Yeah, he was feeling damn good.
Yeah, he looked energized.
I was about to say adrenaline, but then I thought about it last minute. Oh yeah, and I forgot about it. Yeah, they got the adrenochrome. Like shoot.
They say don't shower with the water. They say nothing.
And officials are saying while it's not safe to drink, cook, or wash dishes, you can bathe in it under one condition.
You can shower or bathe. Please make sure in the
man.
shower that your mouth's not open, because again, you do not want to ingest the water. You can shower or bathe. Please make sure in the shower that your mouth's not open, because again, you do not want to ingest the water.
180,000 people in Jackson, Mississippi have not had any clean drinking water. 4 days.
He say, go ahead and shower. Just don't let it get in.
Yeah, but the shit's still getting in your system by you showering in it, bro.
But see, but that's what I'm like. That's what like your biggest organ is soaking up all of these chemicals, and they're telling people to shower in that water.
They say it could possibly be E. coli in the water, but go ahead and shower with it. It's okay. Just don't open your mouth. You should be fine.
Man, I hope people are smarter than that.
Yeah, it's just a little poop. It's just a little poopy water. That's all. Just don't open your mouth. You good? It's fine. It's fine.
But that shit pisses me off, bro. Like these people, and like they not dealing with the shit. Like I mean, you know, if you look at a lot of the police forces around the country, most of the officers that work in a certain area don't live there. They live out in some of the country area. What they probably got their own well. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them live in some little rural town. They drive over because that's what Hines County, uh, Jackson. Bro, I mean, the people they don't give a shit. They fine. They gonna go to their little community where they got their own little water source. And they ain't dealing with the same shit. They got septic tanks and this and that and the other. They don't have a community thing like you do in the city.
Yeah. I ain't gonna be able to stay on much longer. I ain't gonna lie. It's like 2:30.
Yeah, I feel you, but I'm with you too because it's actually 3:30 here, almost 3:30, and I gotta get it going. Hopefully, they can find me something for a long, long weekend. Since it's Labor Day, should give me about 1,500 miles I can roll.
They gonna bless your game.
Shoot, they like it go like it's been going. I can deliver on Monday or even Tuesday. Shoot, lately when I get lows like that, shit, that's my week. I'm already before most people go to their first day of week. I don't made about between 3 to 4 grand. But
Yeah. Shit, that's what's up.
Let me play this clip right quick.
Right, you're feeling like kind of like, well, why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? Like you drunk or you high. Then you have the cross possession. That possession is when you cross between you and spirit, that you feel like you don't know, you can't control your body. You don't know why you're doing what you're doing. It's like the spirit has taken control, but you can see everything that is going on. And then you have a full possession. A full possession is when you don't remember anything. The spirit took full control of your body. Those are the forms of possessions, just like the Catholics, they catch the Holy Ghost. Hallelujah!
Said 3 different kinds of possessions when it comes to spirituality. It was kind of hard to hear him because he had all that music going.
I was looking at something earlier or today sometime about the word transportation and the way people get certain things confused because I think it began with the chattel, the word chattel, because it's like, oh shoot, slavery ain't as bad as it used to be, like as far as chattel slavery, which people don't really know. Like the definition is that chattel is just movable property. That's kind of the same thing with transportation. So I mean, now they use words more like transportation instead of chattel, or even if we say even like cattle, cattle and chattel are pretty much the same word. But movable property. So like you got slaves that you can move around from here to there or whatever, and also when you break it down, trans and trance. It's like a mental thing that they're doing, like portations or portals, or like it's. I wish I'm gonna. No, you know what? It's probably too much to watch because it was I was watching Dane Calloway video. I think that's what it was. I had stopped watching him for a while, but I just saw this one. It just seemed like it. Okay, it was a little bit interesting, but either way,
It said, "Do you shower after sex?" Yeah, of course I do. Well, how about getting laid a little more often then?
damn.
Basically, you stink, bro. Damn, take a shower, man.
What about before?
I know, right? Oh my god! Imagine the smell.
Bro.
Man, you just put a bad taste in my mouth, or maybe I just did.
Oh Lord, this nigga say bad taste. Really, bro? You need to pick your fucking words accordingly. Bad, like, oh my God.
See, well, Chaka, he purposely misses one hole to go for another. So
God damn. Yeah,
Man.
they say put a bad taste in it. God damn, Chaka. Choose. Hey, think about your words before you say that shit. Remind me of that
oh
African dude on that TikTok video. This cucumber. This cucumber. Why does it taste like shit?
oh damn. That's fucked up.
Oh man, that tripped me out when I seen that video, bro. I was like, damn, bro, you done got a hold to the play toy cucumber, dog.
Oh man. That's messed up on many levels.
That's so messed up.
Oh man, but the killer, what made the video so funny, he's smelling it, and then after he say, "Why does it taste like shit?" He take another bite, and he you know how you chew something to taste it. That made it extra funny. Like, come on, dog. Oh, bro, really?
That's horrible.
Yeah, dog. uh, yeah, Chaka. I think if you was in this industry that Pat and myself is in, and having friend truck driving buddies that are equal opportunities, yeah, you'll be more aware of the words that you say. Trust me, because you say the wrong shit around them motherfuckers, you may get one that tell your ass something like, "Well, as long as I don't look them in the eyes, it ain't gay."
Oh my God. Yeah. But a lot of I hope be joking, but some they do say shit like that. It's like what's damn
Yes.
I'm trying to think of some of the other crazy shit they be saying.
Yeah, they be talking some shit, bro.
One
Yeah.
dude weirded me out real bad. Like he's talking about some, because he's got a dog in his truck with him, and it's like, come on, man. I know you've done, put peanut butter on your balls and let your
Oh
let, let your dogs. I was like, bro, I don't have a dog in my truck like that. It's like, are you serious? And of course, that was one of those quiet moments. Like I ain't gonna lie, they got some weird shit that I was like,
yeah. It's some true weirdos out here, man, that'll make you be like, man, I want like, yeah, you like this motherfucker, he'll do some strange, you know
yeah,
what?
yeah, when you think you top freak of them all, you done some of the, what I'm saying, like you got special moves that nobody know about. Yeah, nah, there's some shit that's going on that you would be like, you'd
Yeah.
be surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, they got some true widows out here, man. You gotta, yeah.
Did you see did I send you that thing about the teacher defending the pedophiles?
I didn't see that, bro. You sent a lot of videos, so I probably just hadn't had an opportunity to skim through all of them.
Well, now this one would have been today, like even this evening, like um, something I saw before I came on the show. Like this was tonight, really, that I saw where it's like we don't call them that. We call them maps.
Oh,
Call
hell
them. You know what a map is, right?
no. That's the first time I heard of that term.
Minor attracted person.
Oh my God, yeah, I ain't ever heard of that. But yeah, yeah, that shit crazy, bro. That's like we were, yeah. I don't get it. But you know what? There's been a lot of videos surfacing on social media of these police officers that's being busted for child pornography and meeting up with young girls and boys and shit.
I mean, who better to like? I mean, why like? And then especially with them funding them so much, like that's like they use these people. I mean, it's usually the ones that's in powerful positions that can actually, get away with. I mean, like who better to take a kid or an adult even and hijack them and nobody's ever gonna say anything. Take them somewhere and like who really has it easier than them to be able to pull stuff off like that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. It's all get out,
Like
bro.
we never know. Like a lot of this stuff happens right underneath our nose, and thinking that, oh, okay, well, I mean, this is just the way it is. They'll go to jail. They'll get a bond. They'll come out. They'll be fine. But some of these people, shoot, never go on record, and then before you know it, they're missing persons.
Yep. Yep.
And within 24 hours, they're on the other side of the world somewhere, defending their life and probably be getting prepped for sex work.
Hmm. Yeah, man, you got to be mindful of that and careful with your kids. Pay more attention to who they're around. It's like my daughter. She be mad sometime when her friends be going to the mall. They all in middle school, and she be like, "Oh, can I go to the mall with such and such, such and such?" And my wife would be like, "Nah." And she get a little frustrated, but she don't understand. Like, say, man, it's it's real out here, and you hanging out like you hanging out with your friends. Y'all not paying attention. Y'all just running around the mall, doing this, doing that. You know, messaging because when they together, they don't talk. They message each other back and forth on their text on their phones. Y'all not paying attention, and boom, there you go. Somebody
Yeah,
following y'all around the mall and
and you
swoop
have no
y'all
idea.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's just that shit, and it's everywhere, but it just seems to be a little bit more prevalent in neighborhoods out there where like we live at. Supposed to be your low crime, well-to-do, nice neighborhoods. Yeah, that's where a lot of that shit take place at, bro.
is it well to do? I mean, because I mean, I'm assuming it can happen anywhere,
Well,
but
it can happen anywhere, but I'm just saying
well,
like I don't hear about that shit. I don't hear about them scouting out girls as much on the north side of town. I hear about that shit a lot out there in Galveston County.
huh,
You know what I'm
okay.
saying? Like that's the perspective I'm taking it from. I'm not saying they don't. Yeah, I'm sure they in the hood snatching up women and little girls and little boys left and right, you know.
Yeah.
But it's just I don't know, and the one reason I can see is because like, bro, like I see it when I go to the mall. When I go to the mall, like with my wife and kids, and I'm just walking around the mall, bro. Like people at Baybrook Mall, they just walk around that motherfucker freely. They're just freely, oh, real catty and shit. You know what I'm saying? Not really like paying attention. So it's real easy to catch them off guard.
Yeah. No,
And I pay attention to that type of shit, being seeing as how we grew up. We didn't have a choice but to pay attention to that. And it's like I see that shit, and it's like, nah, bro. Like y'all need to be more vigilant. Y'all a little bit too trustworthy out here.
for real. Yeah, and the unexpected, because I remember, like, I mean, somebody they were saying that this was something that they, staged. But I remember like a year or so ago, maybe 2 years or whatever. It's been a little while, but there was a young lady that got into an Uber or a Lyft and says that because that's why they said like, okay, telling women if you take an Uber before you close the door, make sure the child locks are not on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they're saying like, and then there's supposedly an uptick in this where like people, yeah, they take these Uber jobs, but they really make extra money by being able to produce a human body to be trafficked.
Yeah. 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 I believe that shit, bro. Like it's crazy, man. It definitely is crazy. And your kids
Yep.
gotta, you gotta watch your kids, man. Make sure your kids are aware that stranger danger thing is a real deal, real thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, shoot, I be talking to my son and his friends, just like, y'all gotta look out for each other, yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, you know,
Yeah.
you just never know. You know what I'm saying? We pray and hope that none of these things are ever any real concern for us. But like, you can't be naive and think that it's impossible just
Yeah.
because of where you live, because that's where people will start to try to target is those that's unsuspecting.
Yeah.
That's the main thing is that they, if you're caught off guard, you're an easier target than somebody who's ready.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Y'all ever saw that movie Lovely Bones?
Nuh-uh. Lovely Bones.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, check that out. I mean, it's pretty sad, but it's goes along with what y'all were talking about. I was hoping y'all had seen it because just today it came up on my timeline. One of those like, I'll be watching those videos that analyze movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so a video popped up that analyzed that movie Lovely Bones, and I had that movie on DVD. I think it's
Oh,
early 2000,
okay. Lovely
2002.
Bones.
Well,
Yeah, I'm gonna
anyways,
have.
in that movie, it was a young girl. She was 14 years old, and basically, it was her neighbor, and he lured her into like a clubhouse he had built, and he killed her. The movie was about how basically, the family they never knew what happened to her. They never found her bones or nothing, and the guy basically got away with it. And he had killed other girls too. He died as an older man. He never got caught. They never knew what happened to her. They kid.
Damn.
She was just a missing person.
Yeah.
Man, that shit happens so much, bro. And they say 9 times out of 10, when something like that, well, I don't know if that's still a statistic, but they say that that's usually the ones who who's done that, if
You
you
mean that's
will.
done? That has done what?
The ones that's closest to you, a neighbor, a friend,
Oh well,
stuff like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think on a domestic level, yeah, I guess you have to say that's probably like people who have a higher chance of getting close to you or more so culprits. But I mean, we're looking at like a lot of this stuff. I mean, that's but those people don't end up coming up missing forever. A lot of like you think about the ones that come up missing, they say that especially if you're in a city that has a international airport,
Uh huh.
Houston, Houston, Atlanta, Miami, Orlando, um, and I was doing a lot of stuff where I'm seeing like a lot of this stuff is happening, like in Orlando, bro, around the Disney, like there's so many Disney workers that has gotten caught up in different little stuff that they won't really imply that it's something that's happening at Disney, but there's things that's happening at Disney where people don't really realize how crazy it is. But I mean, even in the surrounding area, like the amount of people that have already been caught, multiple times, at least once or more times that have gotten caught for some kind of trafficking or child abuse or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
I can believe it, especially somewhere like Orlando. Kids running around, get overly excited, go run up to Mickey, and next thing you know, motherfucker beat and snatched them up. I ain't trying to laugh. It's just,
well,
it's like that shit happens, bro.
yeah, and then I mean, they have these underground tunnels where they don't even have to hide it. Like they don't have to be like you can be in the park. The different these different Disney parks, and because they have a city underneath the city, they can take them underneath, take them through these different tunnels and shoot out to a bus, train, or car, whatever it is, to get them out of Orlando, so that they're no longer have any evidence, shall I say?
Bro, that's sad, and it's real easy. You think about somewhere like Orlando. A few hours down the road is Miami.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think it's happening a lot in Florida, but I mean, really, I think maybe if not, I don't remember the numbers, but I know Atlanta is like maybe maybe the biggest. Like it's probably happened because ever since the '80s, this has been happening in Atlanta. Like people just showing up, just all of a sudden missing, and they had one guy that they tried to put that crime on, but even after him being, I guess, quote unquote, brought to justice, the numbers hadn't stopped growing. Kids, young girls coming up missing.
Yeah.
So, but I think it was that he was just a scapegoat to try to get people to feel like something was done. But there's still, business as usual at the high levels.
Yeah. Man, that tripped me out. That dude, the one rapper Mike Jones had got locked up for that shit.
What?
Yeah, that happened a few years ago. They brought up charges on him for sex trafficking and been having prostitutes around Houston and shit like that. Yeah.
Well, let me ask this because was he taking people out of?
Man, I don't really know all of the details of it. I just remember those charges was brought up on him for that shit a few years ago.
Who? Mike Jones?
Yeah,
That's
man.
funny.
I
That's
thought
not
that
really
was
surprising, though. It's not surprising. We're a hub. We're a hub. Houston is a hub. You talking about Atlanta and Orlando and Miami? You
No, I
left
yeah.
that.
know. No, I
Houston
know
is
you.
one of the main ones.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, I mean, especially with Mexico right there. Like, shoot, I mean, you say, I mean, you don't even have to put them on an airplane. You just, or whatever, way you get them out. Because I mean, if you get them into Mexico across the border, shit, it's over.
And I was talking about in the other video about the organs. Were you in it? I did a clip on that too. The organs, and then that's another part of this because when you're talking about human trafficking, it's not always about sex.
No, I mean, but most cases, though, that's where it starts, uh, and it eventually ends in the organ harvest. You know what I'm saying? So, some of them, they specifically want it right away. But I mean, if you think about like for that, like I've heard. I mean, I don't know how true it is, but they saying like if they know somebody that had, because I mean, they have all your records. They know what kind of you know. Let's say you go into a doctor and somebody needs your heart, your whatever. Like you could end up in a car accident, and before anybody can get there to try to identify you or give you support, or like your organs can be on their way to another country just because you supposedly died in this car accident.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
shit.
man.
I heard of that shit there too, bro. It's crazy, man. It's crazy how evil people are. I'm gonna just say that. That shit, you know, I know, I know, I already know you're going, but it's just like, just the pure evil, bro. Like just anything for some money.
Yep.
Your life don't mean shit when it come down to 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 the bottom line.
Because there's a bunch of, I mean, they wouldn't let it happen to their kids, but they'll go out there and do it to others.
Oh yeah, all day long.
Yeah, no real thought about it.
Beg and plead for you not to do nothing to their child. But yeah, and still they begging and pleading while they beating the shit out of another child halfway to death for their child. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna have to wrap it, y'all. I gotta
Yeah,
work
it's
all
that
day
time.
tomorrow.
It's that time for me too.
Yeah, man.
Same bad time, same bad channel.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do it tomorrow.
All right. Yeah. It was good talking to y'all and
Yeah,
seeing
that's what I,
seeing y'all, bro.
same sentiments.
Yeah, man. Good to hear you, man.
Yeah.
You got free from Massa for a little while.
Yeah, man. Headed to the highs for a couple of days. Headed to the crib for a couple of days.
Pharaoh, let my people go.
Hell yeah, that's all right. Nigga finna get to it. It's gonna happen. It's been a slow process, but I'm gonna get there.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna
Stay
get there.
focused, man.
I'm gonna get there.
Just stay focused and stay positive.
That's all I can do, bro.
Yeah.
That's all I can do.
Well, enjoy your time with the family, man.
Oh yeah, we gonna try to. I ain't doing shit this weekend. I'm gonna sit down.
Enjoy life. Scroll on Instagram because you don't even get to do that. TikTok or whatever it is you do.
Yeah, 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 definitely.
Play some video games with the chat. Shit like that.
Yes, sir. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I got work. I'm like the eyes of I got work.
I feel you. How much longer you gonna be out there?
I'm gonna probably going to finish out the month out here and take off maybe a week or so in October.
Okay, that's what's up.
You talking about? I'm gonna go a whole nother month. Then I'm gonna take a week. Ain't. Y'all go ahead with y'all days off and shit. I ain't got
Hey
time
man,
for that.
hey man, mine just happened to be scheduled like that. Hey, but you know, when I was on operator, when I was running chemicals, man, the company I worked for, I was fortunate enough that they were out and back. You know what I'm saying? So I leave out on Saturday and deliver like in Chicago or Shanahan, Illinois. You know what I'm saying? Deliver Monday morning up there and then be back home Tuesday. You know, get back in Tuesday. I probably burn off Wednesday with something else and then be back by the weekend, and chill, have the weekend off. So I mean, it's just however we choose to get down, with what he doing works for him, but yeah, I'm always looking for something that's gonna take me out, bring me back, you know. Me personally, with trying to be better, do better, eat better, man, it's just when you spend more than a week or two out there, bro, it's hard. It's hard when you trying to, because you trying to go grocery shopping. Then a lot of times you can't prepare your food. You know what I'm saying? So it's just
Time restraints.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And don't get me wrong, I cooked on the truck a couple of times, but man, it was sometimes what I if I didn't make enough to have leftovers for the next day, bro. A lot of times I probably mess around and eat a bowl of cereal or something. I go on the truck stop and grab a Subway sandwich, and I just shit. I don't want to do that shit no more, bro.
I feel you, man.
Not if I
Once,
don't have to, but if
yeah,
that's my only option and that's how I got to get my bread, then it is what it is.
you gotta do what you gotta do sometime, but you rather not.
Yes, sir. Rather not.
All right, man. I'm gonna have to throw in the towel.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm with you.
So peace and love, man. Good to hear from y'all. Pat,
Peace and love.
get you some rest and spend some time with the family.
Yeah, man. That's what we gonna do. Get some rest, Pat. I
For
know
sure.
Pat gonna rest up. Goddamn, they gonna get some rest. Shit. I told y'all, Pat don't be tripping. He got that 14-hour clock. What he tell him? I can't drive past 14, but I can work. Get your ass in this truck, girl.
Boy, you stupid.
Oh shit! All right, man.
All right,
Y'all have
man.
a good one, bro.
For
I'm
sure,
gonna try
man.
to join the later tomorrow too, Friday night. Shit.
Uh,
I probably just be laying in the bed with the old lady, and I probably hop on.
all right, man.
All right.
Peace and
All right,
love.
man. Peace and love, bro. Y'all be careful. Be safe
All right.
out there.